This is going to run until 6:45. So we have this tornado warning until 6:45 tonight. Steph, I'm going to have you step in here, run radar. We're going to do team coverage for you here. Want to explain what is going on because, Stephanie, we have been watching this cell here as it has been moving through Jefferson County. And what we noticed just in the last few minutes is the rotation starting to increase. And I want to be very clear here because a lot of folks are going to be turning us on here. And so what I really want to emphasize as the sirens are now going off and folks are tuning in, phones are going off, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. This is encompassing a lot of real estate in our area, straight down Interstate 94 from Menominee Falls, Butler and Brookfield, straight to the west to Concord and Ixonia and everywhere in between in Lake Country and Pewaukee, all these areas up to Lisbon, Sussex here as well. This is in effect until 6:45. Tornado safe location, get in a basement or the lowest level of your home, getting as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. If you don't have a basement, don't worry. You need to get into an interior room, like an interior bathroom or an interior closet. Take some blankets and some pillows with you. Mark the end time of the warning, 6:45. Lisa can hear sirens, so Lisa, let's go out to you. You can see the rotation heading into Oconomowoc right now. Lisa, in our storm chaser, what are you seeing, Lisa?
Yeah, Tom. So we are just getting back on I-94, and we are heading straight east now. Now, we have to be very careful because the rotation is just north of the interstate. We may not see the best view of things as we are heading towards it, just because we are going to have an area off to our northwest that is going to have a lot of rain in this. But I want to tell you that where it's getting darker on our camera, that's the storm. The rain is very heavy right now, but we are hearing sirens going off in Lake Mills. Now, keep in mind, Lake Mills is not under the tornado warning. That tornado warning is to the west, as you've been mentioning. We are going to try to get just to the south of where the rotation is to see if we can get a clear view of anything developing within the Hook signature area. Now, again, we're going to start to have to watch things closely because you might be able to see it is very dark off to our east and northeast, so we are not necessarily going to get a clear view until we can get through the bottom portion of this hook. We are going to be very safe though, because again, right now the rotation is north of the interstate. We've had periodic moments again of heavy rain and light rain. We even had a couple of hailstones on the car, but it is very ominous out here. It's actually kind of scary looking. We have had people at the gas stations that have been also just relaxing, trying to take cover after their shifts. We did have one individual come up to us, ask us what's going on, and I broke down for him that, hey, we had a tornado warning cell coming our way. We're under a severe thunderstorm warning. So as cool as it is, I'm going to turn the camera here. That is looking off to the north, and even though we have some trees moving through right now, there is a lot of lightning in the sky. I know it looks a little, let's see if I can zoom out anymore. We have a lot of lightning in the sky. We are seeing a lot of dark clouds. There we go. A lot of rain shafts moving down. And also to the north where we're looking, there is the massive hail falling down. So we are staying out of that hail core, out of where we see the heavy hail reaching the ground to make sure that we do not put ourselves in danger as well. But this is where this volatile storm is continuing to move. So we're going to try to chase it and move with it as much as we can, heading again east on I-94. Now, we are just going to be close to south of Milford right now. When these two storms merged, we started to see a little bit of rotation, and that's where this kind of picked up and intensified as it's been moving east. So we are still going to continue to watch this closely as we are moving towards the lake. Hopefully, again, our goal here is to get just south of that storm where we can get a better eye on some of the potential rotation with it. And again, even though the storm that we are on right now doesn't have any major rotation, it too could also pick up a little notch and have rotation as well. So we're kind of in the best scenario right now where we have these two supercells, and usually when they merge, one of them gets ingested into the other and they weaken. This doesn't really seem to be the case. So we've been having a little bit of rain from the south merging with the cell to the right. That is also enhancing some of the winds converging together, allowing some rotation to form. But we have just enough distance even on the cell on the back side of this where it's still severe warned, especially for large hail, but we are going to have to watch the potential for some redevelopment of rotation. The radar does make it look, again, a little bit hazy in some spots, but we are continuing to watch things very closely as we are moving east. Again, we are past Milford now. We are going to be heading up next to Johnson Creek. Again, the skies very ominous, a lot of lightning. We're almost rain-free right now, but that doesn't mean that we are safe. As I kind of pan the camera here, we're continuing to track a lot of the dark skies. And again, it's very misleading because if I turn it slightly heading towards more of the east-southeast to almost south, we're seeing a lot of sunshine. And it just is very, very odd to people who maybe have not been storm chasing before. So yes, we are continuing to track this and we'll be watching the cell. Again, we really haven't seen much in terms of hail. That's a good thing. We are trying to stay out of it. We did have a couple of those stones, as I mentioned, but right now we are watching two areas where we could have some rotation, but heading towards that tornado warned cell, which right now it looks to be just moving past Oconomowoc, Tom.
Lisa, you're doing a phenomenal job. You and Eric stay safe. So you are on supercell number 1, or I guess number 2 here. So you're on this one, which again could be picking up a bit in rotation. All right, keep heading east. Here's the deal. So Lisa's right about here, okay? And Lisa, again, thank you, doing a phenomenal job. Lisa, keep heading east because this is the tornado warned storm. And look at the hook on this. So this is right over Okauchee Lake right now with the potential for a tornado with this. You need to be in your tornado safe spot. What we're hoping to get Lisa positioned for is as she continues down the interstate, and this continues to move to the east-northeast as it goes just north of the interstate. We want to see if she can get more into that view to see what's going on with the lowering potentially with that cell. So again, if you are just joining us, there's a tornado warning that remains in effect from Ixonia to Concord, extending all the way through all of northern Waukesha County. So essentially I-94 and north. Now, this is going to include Lake Country, as I mentioned. This includes you folks in Pewaukee, the northern side of Waukesha. This includes Brookfield. This includes Elm Grove. This includes Butler, all in effect here until 6:45. Now, this also includes southern Washington County. So Germantown, Menominee Falls, you're both in this as well. Here's the deal. Just got a report from our reporter Ashley Sears, who's in West Bend. And she goes, well, I can hear the sirens sounding. West Bend, you are not in this tornado warning. And this is really important because we had this issue in the middle of the night in Milwaukee County, where sometimes the sirens will be sounded for the entirety of a county when only a sliver of the county is actually in the tornado warning. So don't automatically make the assumption that if you're hearing the siren, you are under the warning. And I think this created a lot of confusion in Milwaukee County in the middle of the night because people were woken up by these outdoor warning sirens, but then they're going, I didn't get an alert on my phone. Well, that's because you're not really under the warning. Sirens, again, county by county, are different. Some will sectorize them for certain parts of the county. Others will sound them for the entirety of the county, even though in Washington County's case, you're only getting a sliver of the county under the tornado warning. It's a very important point that I want to make there. So if you are in this warning box, as we talked about before, you need to be in your tornado safe location. This is a radar indicated tornado. The hail is of concern. Steph, let's take a look at the hail core real quick because that has been a big concern. And I'll tell you, at least that's good news as of right now, is that's starting to weaken a little bit, right? As we're heading just off to the north there. So the hail is starting to weaken a little bit, but you are getting that rotation on the southern side of the storm. And we're back to Lisa here as she is panning the skies. And, oh my gosh, Stephanie, I mean, look at this. Watertown, a report of 2.75-inch diameter hail. That is baseball size.
And that's the history of the cell, too, even when it developed out near Madison. Remember, we had softball size hail, which is over 3 inches in diameter in parts of Dane County. So clearly, this storm is still capable of producing very large hail. But in addition to that, we are watching rotation. In fact, I can put rotation back up. And really, in that same spot, it is still absolutely present.
Absolutely, Steph. And see how it's perked up. Looks like we have another warning.
And this is a severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay, so this is for Fond du Lac County.
So I will zoom out so you guys can get a better idea of our latest watches and warnings. So this is near Ripon,
and this is moving northeast, so the very fringe of our viewing area right now. And a flash flood warning for northern Jefferson County, southwestern Dodge County until 9:15. So we got a lot going on here, Steph, and we are again watching Lisa and Eric's shot here as they are heading eastbound on I-94 through Jefferson County, heading from the first supercell to the west, heading into the Waukesha County supercell, which has the tornado warning on it. So we have a slew of warnings here for hail and, of course, the possible tornado. And I want to emphasize here, this is a radar indicated tornado. And I think, can we take Lisa's shot real quick? Full, please, because it sure looks like she is approaching that supercell, doesn't it, Steph?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So she's on the backside of it, but boy, look at the wind here. We're just looking at the wind heading into Okauchee Lake, and it is strong.
It continues to get stronger.
And that's likely the flash flood warning here coming out. But, I mean, the winds are a good 50, 60 miles per hour coming out of this storm. Plus, you still have the rotational component that is north of Neshota right now near Shaniqua. So going right through Lake Country as we speak with that radar indicated rotation. So to kind of put this into perspective for you, and again, if you're just joining us, this is a lot of real estate that's under a tornado warning right now. And I know your heart skips a beat, right? When tornado warnings are issued, obviously the storm system has been very hyped up because of the hail potential and the tornado potential. Let me just tell you right now, we don't have any confirmed tornado touchdowns. This is why we have Lisa Michaels, who is a trained meteorologist and storm chaser who knows exactly where to look here. And I can tell you, as you look at that box, she is looking due east down the, look at that lightning. Wow. She is due now looking just northeast of the interstate. Lisa, let me bring you back in here as you're coming in on the back side of that supercell, and that structure from where you are looks incredible right now. And I think you're going to tell us a big story here as you get closer.
Yeah, Tom, you know, you're absolutely right. We are coming in on that more easterly cell that is tornado warned. Now, we're not there yet, but it is just quite a sight. We have Eric and we are looking at the clouds. It's ominous. It is very, very dark ahead of us. And then as we shift the camera, notice it almost has like that tint of green. There is lightning, there is hail, there is heavy rain, all wrapped within this cell. And if I continue to shift the camera a little more to the north and then off to the west behind us, we are continuing to watch the backside of that other cell that is following us. So excuse the noise if you hear me. We are continuing to track this. It's going off because we are actually heading right now into areas of this severe thunderstorm warning, heading eastward on I-94. We are, again, not in the tornado warned area yet, but we are just northeast of Farmington. We are making our way towards Concord next, and then shortly after that, we will be making our way south of that cell, south of Oconomowoc, and the goal here, again, is to make our way closer to Waukesha, where that nudge is. Now, one thing I want to mention, though, and Tom will probably bring this up too, there is a lot of heavy rain within this. And something we call when we're chasing is HP or LP. HP is high precipitation, LP is low precipitation. There looks to be that some of this precip could potentially be wrapping around if there is a potential tornado on the ground. So that would be more of an HP storm setup, a high precipitation storm setup, which could blind any potential tornado that potentially could, again, be on the ground. So this is one of those situations, as Tom's been mentioning, if your sirens are going off, please make sure you're getting to your safe spot. I know a lot of people are tempted to look out their windows. We have had reports back off to the west of us where large hail has broken windows, has caused a lot of damage on siding of homes. You don't want to be a person who, again, could be by a window and have glass break in your face. And in addition, when we're talking about this HP event, high precipitation, the rain could be wrapping around any potential tornado that develops with these cells, and that means you won't see it at all. So the hope is for us that we can get close enough to the south side of the storm to maybe be tracking any type of rotation or tornado possible on the ground. But we'll have to watch it closely because, like I said, it is ominous out there. It is dark. And with all the precipitation of rain as well as hail, there's a chance that it may wrap around it and we may not see a lot. So again, we're going to have to watch this closely. Right now, a lot of that rotation looks to be just north of Heartland. And my current location with Eric, we are again still on the road now. We are heading up towards just northwest of Concord. So the skies are looking dark. They are lighting up with lightning, certainly giving us a very vivid display on our cameras here as we are continuing to track east on the interstate.
Lisa, excellent work here. And again, you're like right in between here. So Lisa's like right about here, okay? And she is going to be heading just to the south of this hook right here, which is in Lake Country right now, just to the east of Okauchee Lake. And as Lisa, as you come just around that, what the positioning that Lisa's trying to get to here is to get just east of here and then be able to peer up into that, because what you're looking at right now from Lisa's shot, and you're seeing this area right here, which has very impressive structure. So effectively, Lisa, you are looking into that area of rotation effectively, but kind of on the back side. So it's a little bit muddied. However, you are seeing really the violent storm there with large hail. You mentioned the green sky, which you can see on that image right there. What makes the sky green is the sun is shining through the clouds. Well, what's in the clouds? Ice. And that ice, the sun is refracting or bending through the ice, and that is causing that green sky. So when you see a green sky, it often means hail. So Lisa, excellent work. Keep us posted here, because you're about to get into kind of that core zone, and that's really important for us to be able to see what's going on in that. Stay safe, and you are heading east down 94. We will check in with you again within moments. If you are just joining us, tornado warning continues for northern portions of Waukesha County, southern portions, extreme southern portions of Washington County, and this runs until 6:45. I think the Jefferson County part of this is okay from this supercell, but of course Lisa was showing you the other one that doesn't have as much rotation on it, nor a tornado warning with that. So I think Jefferson County, outside of some hail, you're looking better from the tornadic standpoint right now. So Stephanie, thank you for doing a track on this, because here we go. Interstates have certainly filled up, not only for rush hour, but also the Brewers game that is happening tonight. And so let's take a look. Well, let me do the track first, then we'll take a look at American Family Field, where Richfield coming in here right now, Menominee Falls in the next 10 minutes, Brookfield 641, Wauwatosa 649. Boy, Tosa, you got hit hard last night. Whitefish Bay 654. And the portion of the rotation, Steph, let's do just a little track on that, and maybe we go just a bit to the north of east, so kind of east-northeast on that, maybe into portions of northern Milwaukee County, probably right on the Ozaukee County line, and that's moving at roughly 40 miles per hour. So this is going to be the core of this rotation that's going to take it right into Pewaukee right about now, so you need to be in your tornado-safe location. Sussex, same for you within the next 5 minutes. Menominee Falls, this is again the core of the rotation here, and this is going to be for you by 6:35. Granville 6:40, Glendale 6:45, and Germantown, I would put you at about the same time as Menominee Falls at about 6:45, and then into the Mequon area. If this were to hold together, that's going to end up also being sometime around 6:40-ish within about the next 20 minutes. We'll see if they continue that tornado warning along, but right now, if you are in northern Waukesha County, north of 94, or you are in extreme southern Washington County, including Germantown and Menominee Falls as well, you need to be in your tornado-safe location. So Brookfield, Pewaukee, Sussex, Butler, Menominee Falls, I would be in your tornado-safe location right now. This is radar indicated, meaning that we don't have any indication that the tornado has touched down, but as Lisa alluded to, it's becoming what we call an HP supercell, or high precipitation, meaning you may not be able to see it. But we're going to try to get Lisa into position here shortly to be able to see what's going on with that part of the cell. But again, this could be a bit messy for folks heading to the Brewers game here. Let's go ahead and zoom out, Stephanie, and I'll bring you in on this as well, because it's not only these two supercells that are starting to merge, and we also have a flash flood warning, by the way, for northern Jefferson, southern Dodge counties. But it's this activity off to the west. And Steph, why don't you kind of take us through here what we're expecting with the larger round later on tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, why don't we take a look at some of our current watches and warnings, because I think that'll help us out a little bit. You can see how it really is a broken line of both severe thunderstorm warnings as well as tornado warnings. In fact, even by the Dells, dealing with a lot of tornadic activity. The green, of course, that flash flood warning from Madison into southern Dodge as well as northern Jefferson County. But again, this broken line is moving eastward. So why don't we, again, kind of zoom out, put a track on it. Keep in mind, this isn't a full distinct line, but this is what's going to be moving in our direction. And with the fact that it is already warned between severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, that's basically just going to be our next round of thunderstorm activity. Looks like we're checking back in with Lisa. Hey, Lisa, this is Steph on screen now, doing such a fantastic job. Why don't you give us a quick update, as I know you're getting a lot closer to that storm?
Yeah, so pretty much right now, Steph, we are just north of the village of Summit. We are heading east on Interstate 94. We are heading up next towards Delafield again, and we are tracking the tornado warn cell, which again, by the lake, there's a lot of sunshine. If I zoom out a little bit and you can see the clouds, they are very, what I call churn looking. There's a lot of strong winds in the atmosphere with this storm, and we are continuing to watch this, because right now, if I'm turning a little bit to the northeast, even though we are on the interstate and you see these trees, it looks very muddled out there. That is where we would be tracking the current rotation. Yep. But we can't see through the rain that is on the backside and also hail of this storm. So we are trying to get as far east as we can ahead of this area, which you're seeing right now, of heavy rain as well as hail. Now, of course, we can still see the clouds. It does look very ominous. All of these clouds that are kind of hanging down, they are not producing tornadoes. They are not funnel clouds. We can call them scud clouds, as they are continuing to look kind of spooky-like. A lot of these clouds also are going to be an indication of the variations of winds, but clouds and moisture that could be moving into the storm, coming out of the backside of the storm, just depending on where you are. And again, I'm going to zoom out because it looks very eerie when we are seeing this tail of clouds coming out of this, but we are not, again, tracking any tornado from those low-lying clouds, even though someone may look at that and say, whoa, those clouds are low to the ground. It has nothing to do with that. That is just part of an area in between the storms that we are watching right now. Again, we are heading towards towards Delafield. In fact, we are going to be towards Delafield in a moment. We are still not exactly caught up yet with the hook part or the ball shape of the storm, where the potential indication, the little notch where we would be tracking the tornado. But we have been encountering some bigger raindrops. Again, we are on the southern portion of this storm, so we do not have a lot of heavy rain reducing our visibility.
And
we
hey,
are
Lisa,
not
I'm so
in
sorry.
an area where
I'm going to cut you off real quick.
Hail.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to cut you off real quick because we just got a latest scan of velocity, and it's really perking up as we are looking towards Menominee Falls. First and foremost, this is our view here in Brown Deer as we're really starting to see a lot of the lightning, hear a lot of the thunder here locally. But Tom, if you could put up that latest velocity scan for us. Tom and I both saw it at the same time. So now just a little bit more concerned for Menominee Falls, and we will check in with Lisa again. Absolutely. We'll let her catch her breath a little bit. But this is what we're talking about here. In fact, Lisbon, you're likely dealing with some of this as we speak, and it is still taking more of that east-northeasterly turn. So right here in the middle between Colgate and Sussex, you are likely dealing with some strong wind right now, but it really just appears that this is now a true couplet and is very organized as compared to what we were seeing in previous scans when it was just out towards the west. So remember, we do still have an active tornado warning, and we always say, you know, when the red and the green meet, there's something in between, aka rotation. And great to see it in motion too as this velocity scan is looping. So once again, Lisbon, you're probably dealing with this as we speak, but even north of your area here, and eventually maybe even Menominee Falls, if it doesn't skirt maybe just north of you, I would say heads up in this region right here as this is going to continue to move up towards the northeast. But very telling that this has strengthened a little bit and just a bit more defined, right, Tom?
Stephanie, it's concerning.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, look, this is just within the last 15 minutes, right? And you can see how that couplet has really tightened up.
Right here.
Yep. So this is going to roll right over the interstate. This is going to be not far from Main Street in Menominee Falls and these areas. And we have not heard from the National Weather Service about this yet because it literally just happened. But let me tell you, Sussex, anywhere, this is right on 164 right now. If you are anywhere in this area, from Sussex to Menominee Falls, Germantown, Hubertus, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. This has strengthened, and it's strengthening even more. Look at just the last scan that just came in. You see the blue, and then you're getting kind of these deeper reds and even some oranges in here. That is a couplet, as we call it, meaning that's the tight rotation where you have the winds in the green going away, the winds in the red going away from the radar, the winds in the green going toward the radar, which is in Sullivan, and so there's your counterclockwise wind flow. This is what we mean by a radar-indicated tornado. The fact that this rotation has increased is increasing the likelihood that there could be a tornado coming out of this very shortly. So again, folks, anywhere in this area, I think right now, if you're watching us, let's say from Brookfield, while you should still remain in your tornado safe location, I'm not overly, since you're under a tornado warning, I'm not overly concerned for that right now. I really think Sussex, Menominee Falls, Germantown, Hubertus, if this continues, we're going to have to watch not far from our television station here at Fox 6 and then up into portions of Mequon as well, so that you guys have a little bit of a heads up at this point. Let's take a
Tom, I got to cut you off. We've got a radar confirmed. So radar confirmed tornado on the north side of Sussex. And this is, you can explain more, this debris tracker.
Yeah, so this thing is likely on the ground. All right, this has changed the dynamic here of this. This is what we call a debris ball, just to the north of Sussex off of 164. What does this mean? First of all, imperative that you are in your tornado safe location. Absolutely imperative. Northeastern Waukesha County, Sussex, Colgate, Hubertus, Germantown, Menominee Falls, anywhere in this area, get into your tornado safe location now. That is an interior bathroom, an interior closet, getting as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. take blankets, take pillows with you, turn us on Fox Local. This tornado warning is in effect, I believe, until, is it 6:45?
You know what, let me double check for you.
I believe it is 6:45, and it's probably going to be,
yes.
okay, it's probably going to be extended. What this is showing here is that a likely tornado has hit something. It could be trees. It could be some form of debris. And it's being lofted into the air, and the radar is picking up on that debris. That's why it's a different color than the rain surrounding it. Again, it could be tree branches. It could be anything at this point. We don't know exactly what it is, but we know it's a very different shape from the typical rain. So we call that a debris ball. Now, Stephanie, let's go back to the velocity, storm relative velocity. So
still very clear.
Look at that. Do you see how it lines up? Mm-hmm. That's the concern. I'm sorry. Could you go ahead with what you just told me in my ear? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is 40. Is this 41 and I believe it's Main Street? Yeah, 45, excuse me. And yep, and Main Street. There it is, 4145 and Main Street. Okay, so yeah, let's keep on this right now, because what's going to happen is that rotation is going to come right over this area. And folks, I mean, this is actually a perfect shot here. And I'm telling you, our television station is not that far from here. And we need to watch this closely.
And maybe producers keep an eye on our tower cam as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, because we have our tower cam, which we can pull up that sirens are going off here in northern Milwaukee County.
Yes.
Okay. Have they extended that warning?
They have not.
They have not yet. Okay.
Lannon is going to be up next here, and then of course Menominee Falls.
Germantown.
Mm-hmm,
yep.
Absolutely.
You guys are in this here. In fact, we just literally with the last hour finished up our severe weather plans here at our station. So if we need to take tornado precautions here in Brown Deer, we are going to be doing so if need be. But again, that's a little farther out for this. But again, staff here at Fox 6 just keep an eye here to the programming. Let's see here. It looks like so that it's still there.
Yeah, it's a little messier. It's not as defined. But again, these are so tricky. It could spike again. So still stay in your shelter.
But that rotation is so tight, Steph.
Absolutely. I'll go back to it.
I'm very concerned. Again, now keep in mind, I want to remind you of a couple of things here. First of all, imperative that you're in your tornado safe spot. Is this a new, hang on a minute. This might be a new warning coming out. Yes. Nope, that's for Iowa and Dane counties.
Out west.
No, we're okay. We're okay for now. Yeah, I'll keep you posted, though. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. That was our news director, Amanda, just asking if our staff needed to take shelter.
We really do have a handful of tornado warnings even west of the area. Oh, this is a new update, Tom.
Yep, and it's still rotating. Now, it's broad. It's broadened here. And so let's do this, guys, if we can. Take this, my image full here, and then if we... Yep, and then if we can, so take me full real quick, and then I want to take our rooftop camera because I think that's really going to show this coming in. I just want to show you here, this is broad rotation. This is not as tight as it was over Sussex, okay? So it has broadened, meaning that the rotation has slowed. That's good news. However, I still think that this tornado warning, personally, I would extend it into northwestern Milwaukee County. We'll see what happens in a moment. Let's go back to the reflectivity quick, Steph, and then I want to go to our tower cam because we're going to be looking right at this thing. And look at the lightning with this as well. Intense lightning. See, right there. And this is heading due east now. So this is going to literally roll right over our television station. Stand by.
This is a new tornado. This is for Milwaukee County.
Here we go. Phones are going off. Boy, was that quick.
That was quick.
That was quick. All right. Let's get this turned off. Everyone's going off here. I don't even know how to.
All right. Okay, so let me put.
I don't know how to turn it off. Hang on a minute.
Just silence it.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry for the loud noises, everybody. But we know you're in the same boat as well. So why don't we put the warning map up just real quick as we see how it's been extended into Milwaukee County. So this is the North Shore of Milwaukee. We've got Fox Point in here. We've got Whitefish Bay in here. We've got the city of Milwaukee, including American Family Field, because Interstate 94 is also included in this too. West Allis is included in this. So, you know, this is continuing to be a very serious situation.
Yep. Now, okay, here's what I want us to do quickly. Take our, actually, you know what? we can take our tower camera, right,
Yep.
Steph? Let's take our tower camera. Here's what I want us to do, and this is the first time we've ever done this since I've been here at Fox 6. I want all of our newsroom to go into the basement right now. I want us all to take shelter, including in our control room. You guys head down to the basement as well. We have a studio down there, which we may be joining you here in just a moment. We're going to probably send one of us down there in a moment. But I want our newsroom to go down into the basement right now because this rotation is heading towards us. Steph and I are going to continue to look at this for another minute or two, and then we're likely going to be making the dive into the basement as well. So please go ahead and do that. Again, this tornado warning in effect until 7:15. Steph, let's take a look at our tower camera because this is going to tell a lot. And again, hey, Sarah.
Going downstairs.
Yes. Yep. Have everyone go downstairs. Perfect. That was our assistant news director coming in. Again, we had meetings all day today about what do we do if we need to take shelter here. It's Severe Weather Awareness Week, right? And we're actually activating those plans. Let's take a look, if we can, Steph, at our camera from the rooftop. I will tell you this as well. Okay, so here we are. Are you good?
Yeah.
Amanda? Okay.
Basement studio or up here?
You guys go to the basement. We will, well, I think we're going to split up here in just a minute, and then we'll end up in the basement studio. Okay. Yep, absolutely.
We've got a little bit more time here.
Yes, but here it is. Oh, interesting. Stephanie, right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I pull up rotation again real
yes.
quick? Let me look at that. You can still analyze this picture.
That looks to me like a funnel.
I hear the sirens.
Yep.
All right, sorry, I apologize. Trying to find all these graphics.
And I will tell you this as well. As we're doing this, so, yep, you can hear the sirens. In fact, here, let me, you're going to hear it. Let me, you can hear the thunder, nearly constant lightning. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it. Is it hailing? It doesn't appear to be
hail.
hailing. I would like to look at the hail report real quick.
Yep. But there is a lot of lightning with this. All right, here's the deal as well, because we now also, and I'm going to send a text message here shortly, we not only here at our station, we need everyone to be in their tornado safe spot if you're in this tornado warning. Again, something else that we've done, and maybe I shouldn't be giving away all of our secrets, but I'm going to be messaging my counterpart, our counterpart at Minneapolis, Ian Leonard, because should we lose power or something like that, again, we have backup generation, but they are prepared to take over for us from Minneapolis should the situation warrant. So, you know, rest assured here that if we were to lose power here in the next couple of minutes, the coverage would continue from our sister station in Minneapolis, will be ready to go here shortly, should that need to be the case. So let's, again, you can see the rotation. Let's go back, Steph, up to the rooftop.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's take a closer look at that. And while we do that, I am going to send a text over to our friend Ian and make sure
a lot of lightning in this. I don't see that
no, I don't
tiny
see that.
lowering that we had earlier. But you can tell this storm is moving in. There's a lot of lightning. Thankfully, no hail at this point in time. But sirens are going off. We do have that active tornado warning. And a lot of tornado warnings, too, just surrounding our area. But I want to stay on this picture because it's one of those situations where we could very well see little lowerings and they may lift and come back down again. But I know, Tom, you're looking at this too.
Mm-hmm. It's looking almost more like a shelf cloud.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what I'm thinking here? Let me do this. So while you're analyzing this, I want to move the camera a little bit.
Okay.
And then I think what we should do,
real quick.
We need to practice what we preach, right, Steph? I don't think we should tell people to go to the basement and not do it ourselves, right?
Very true. And I'm looking at velocity right now.
Look at the left-hand side of your screen there.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to zoom in on this here, and then I think what we have a studio in the basement that we can get all of this fired up with, so this will be seamless coverage for us here, although we may, we'll have to dial that in, which should not be a problem. Give me just 1 second here.
This should have moved through Menominee Falls. Butler probably getting some really strong wind, but next up really would be Brown Deer, and then eventually closer to the lakeshore, Whitefish Bay, Fox Point, those areas. If you are in northern Milwaukee County, make sure you are in your shelter. I know I've already been texting with a few people near me who have kids as practices. Make sure you get to your safe spot, because this is a storm that still has at least broad rotation on it, and it continues to move eastward. So again, next up really is going to be the North Shore of Milwaukee. Now, the city of Milwaukee should stay just south of this main rotation. So that is some good news, especially when we're thinking of American Family Field and the West Dallas area. But still, you're going to get in on some heavy rain, some lightning, maybe some hail, although that hail core really was up towards the north. But this is an impressive shot.
Yep.
Tom.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Steph, do me a favor.
Yep.
Here's your laptop. Head on down.
Okay.
And when you get hooked up, as we just jumped.
Yes, I jumped with that.
This is why we're going to the basement.
Oh, that was, and we just saw the lightning on that camera too.
Yep.
Okay.
You saw that.
Yep. I'm going to head down.
Yep. Okay. And new severe thunderstorm warning. Northern Milwaukee, southern Ozaukee until 7:30. All right, here you go. Go get hooked up. I'll give you just a minute or two, and then I'm going to join you.
All right.
I just want to make sure that we can have the seamless coverage.
Absolutely. I'll head down.
I will meet you down there. Again, everyone needs to be in their tornado-safe spot right now. You saw, I mean, it's nonstop lightning here. Let me tell you, as of right now, so again, you are looking from our rooftop just off to the west here, all right? So this is Brown Deer Road. Now, look at the lightning. Now, typically, the lightning will increase with tornadic activity. As of now, this looks to me more like a shelf cloud than a wall cloud. I am not seeing rotation at the moment. But what's likely going to happen is these skies are going to completely open up here in just a moment. So Stephanie is making her way to the basement. Steph, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we can still hear you as well. Good. All right, the microphone's working. The rotation is just crossing the border from Waukesha County into Milwaukee County, right over the county line. So you are looking at it right now. I am not seeing a ton of that off to the surface. I can hear everyone down there in the basement, so that is good. This is where everybody needs to be. You can see here
does my mic still work down here?
The on the left-hand side, you're seeing some of that inflow here as well, but this appears as of now to be more of a shelf than a wall cloud. By the way, this new severe thunderstorm warning for Ozaukee and Milwaukee, southern Ozaukee, northern Milwaukee, is for 2-inch diameter hail. And again, that's huge hail. This includes Fiserv Forum. This includes Mequon, Wauwatosa, Fox Point. This is an intense storm that is coming through. And this is, as it's getting closer here, this is looking very much like a shelf cloud to me, which means, what does that mean? That means straight line winds instead of rotation. And it does appear the rotation is weakening a little bit. Steph, when...
Hey there, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yep. Are you getting into position there?
I am. I'm in my spot. My computer's firing up right now.
Perfect.
I can see your live shot. Are you heading down here? Or are you staying up?
I'm heading down.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to head down now. This is an incredible viewpoint of this, what appears to be shelf cloud. Everyone needs to be in their tornado-safe spot, including us meteorologists. I'm going to step out of the way. I'm going to head down to the basement, and Steph is getting fired up down there.
Yep,
so
I'm checking chat right as we speak. So why don't you head down, Tom, and I'll give everybody...
Sounds good. I'm on my way. Go ahead, Steph.
It does look like we also have a severe thunderstorm warning for Milwaukee as well as Ozaukee County, and that is for large hail as well as strong wind, and that goes until 7:30. So again, we kind of have a handful of different headlines right now between the active tornado warning that does still extend into Milwaukee County and some of these severe thunderstorm warnings. I am going to try to get my graphics up down here So bear with me for a second, but the entire or majority of our Fox 6 building, our coworkers, our colleagues are down here in the basement sheltering in place as we do have this active tornado warning that continues. You're still watching this live view of our camera here in Brown Deer. You know, that main area of rotation is moving still in our direction, and I'm going to try to get that up for you. Everything seems to be working on my end, Kale, our chief photographer down here, being so helpful. I do appreciate that.
This is G2.
Yes, yes. So trying to find some graphics. You know, we jam-pack our shows with so many graphics, but I believe I found them. All right, here's radar. Let's take a look at this. All right, I can pan off to the east. Tom has joined me down here.
Hello, Steph.
Hi there. Do we only have one mic, Kale? Okay.
One mic?
One mic, so come on in.
Oh, okay. Here, I'm standing right next to you,
Yep.
so you
that
talk
should
as
work.
well.
Okay. Go ahead.
So it looks to me, see, now what's interesting here, and we talked about this at like 2 in the morning when we had storms coming through. There could still be rotation here right over the interstate.
Absolutely.
However, you see the bulge?
I do.
And that's the shelf cloud.
Absolutely.
And that's probably one of the most brilliant shelf clouds I've ever seen.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Coming on through, and that is making its way through right now. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder. If there is a tornado with this, I am somewhat skeptical at this point, but it would be right over us at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be strong straight line winds coming on through. But I'll tell you, the lightning and thunder with this stuff has been intense.
Oh, we jumped when we were right before we came down
Yeah.
into the basement, and then when we were watching that live cam, you saw the bolt of lightning.
Yep. Are we able to pull that up again?
Yeah.
That live cam?
Absolutely. I just got to find it. I just wanted to point out,
Yeah,
too,
go ahead.
you know, out towards the west a little bit, there may start to be a bit more hail.
Do we have the Brewers Stadium?
People are at the Brewers game just in the basement as well.
Okay.
Oh, they have taken shelter.
That's
Okay.
what I'm hearing.
Got it. Okay, so folks at AmFam have taken shelter now at the Brewers game. I will tell you this. I think that here within a moment they're going to be they're going to be okay at the Brewers game until the second cell comes
exactly.
on through. You know what
Look
I mean?
at-
There's another
more
one
developing.
that we need to watch, and there's more developing in behind this as well. Again, if you're just joining us, we're all in the basement here. We're practicing what we preach because again, there is nothing more important than preparation here and protection. And here we go. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Well,
that is incredible.
Yep. And
But it's still moving through as we speak, so make sure you're staying in your safe spot. We are likely getting some strong wind out of this.
And it's possible that there could be rotation on the north side of this that you can't see on the right-hand side of your screen. But look at this. So here we are. You are looking from our rooftop, which is here in Brown Deer, just to the north of Brown Deer Road, which is where all the cars are on the left-hand side of your screen. Now, what you're looking at on the left-hand side is the rain and likely the hail core, Stephanie.
Absolutely, and we do need to remember that this storm, I know when it was out towards the west, had the capability of producing over 2-inch size hail, so we can't rule out that possibility. It's getting a little iffy there on the bottom edge of this cloud, but again, hail is still a threat as this storm works its way on through. And the good news, you know, it's moving east. Eventually it'll be out over the lake, but we are still we're
right in the notch, though.
We are, absolutely.
So on the left-hand side is actually that bulge, which would be the straight line winds. So that's what you're seeing on the left, is the wind and the straight line winds. And then coming at us effectively, I mean, you could almost call that the rain-free base, right? As we talk about with tornadoes. However, you know, again, to kind of be rest assured here, I'm not seeing rotation, but I'm telling you, when this comes over you, the skies literally open up. It's constant lightning out of this. You need to be in your tornado safe spot. We are here at Fox 6. The entire television station right now is in the basement. And that is where you need to be if you are in northern Milwaukee County. We are hearing American Family Field. They have all taken their tornado precautions right now. If you are in the North Shore of Milwaukee, if you are in Bayside, if you are in Fox Point, if you are in Shorewood, if you are in Whitefish Bay, You need to be in your tornado safe spot right now, and here's why: because you are seeing an intense shelf cloud that is about to make its way right over our television station, and the hail and the wind is going to open up as this thing comes overhead.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to check on hail as well. I'm going to put radar up real quick just so then I can switch over to our hail
and it's
product.
Big.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, I definitely want to get that up. Give me just one second.
Oh, now this is, so it's about 10 minutes old.
Okay.
However, I think what we need to also do, and I love where you have here, Stephanie, because look, it's going to be a long night.
It is.
You see
We're
what I mean?
in no way done with some of these severe storms. And in fact, they are still tornado warned out towards the west. Maybe I can put that up first, and then we can get to hail.
Yep, and I'm looking kind of off screen here as well. So let's, just to reiterate, okay, here's the deal. As of now, Waukesha County, you're tornado warning free. For the time being. We'll see with supercell number 2 coming through Sussex. However, this tornado warning continues for 24 more minutes for Milwaukee County, central and northern Milwaukee County. Sirens are going off. It's loud. It's very loud coming through Milwaukee County right now. The tornado warning continues because there is still a little bit, there is rotation that is, there are really 2 cores, one over Brown Deer, another one over Glendale.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be Fox Point, Whitefish Bay, as well, and that is in effect here for another 24 minutes until 7:15 tonight.
And then also just want to point out too, just west of Fond du Lac County, there are some additional tornado warning. So I know we're focused on what we have right now, but after this tornado warned storm in Milwaukee County pushes out over the lake, I do think we're going to need to switch our focus over to some of those westernmost storms. But for now, obviously our main focus is on the potential for very strong wind as this cell and this couplet works its way through our area. I want to take a second just to put up the hail potential here, and I will try to zoom in. I apologize, I'm on my laptop, so it's
You're doing a great job.
Finicky here.
And I'll tell you, hats off to the game is going on right now. So Lily Zhao is at the game.
Okay.
Game is going on now as usual. That's a safe play, so to speak, because the worst of the weather is, sorry, that's a bad pun, Stephanie, up to the north. But I want to give a shout out to the folks here at Fox 6 because we're in the basement right now, and they literally set this up. Kale Zimney, who is our wonderful newsroom manager, set this all up within the last 3 hours because it's Severe Weather Awareness Week, and we've been talking about all of this, and we've never done this before in the history since I've been here. In fact, in 23 years in television, I don't think I have ever gone down to the basement. And it is absolutely necessary right now to have this cell rolling right over us. So again, please do as we are doing. If you are in this tornado warning, we only have about 20 minutes left on this warning, probably less, to be honest with you. I bet this thing is going to be out over the lake shortly. This is turning into more of what I would call a quasi-linear rotation out of this now. So little areas of rotation, not like the big one that we see all the little reds.
Yeah, like
there?
Little mesovortices, which sometimes we do see in squall lines, kind of like last night.
Maybe
obviously
another one back over Sussex. Look at the one over Sussex.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's still a lot going on across northern Milwaukee County. Oops, sorry about that. Like I said, kind of a finicky laptop here. Yeah, really. I mean, this is still going as it crosses through Brown Deer. Almost to the lakeshore?
Yep, I would say within 10 minutes we're going to be good. So everyone here at Fox 6, everyone in the building right now, all of our anchors, producers, everybody, directors, everyone's down here in the basement. And once this pushes out over the lake here in the next few minutes, we'll give you the all clear so we can head back upstairs and continue our coverage. Because, Stephanie, I think we're doing this for most, if not all of the night, probably going until 10, 11, 12 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just point out, too, my topic for Severe Weather Awareness Week today was supposed to be lightning. Just a reminder, you're not really supposed to go outside until at least 30 minutes after that last lightning or that last clap of thunder. Again, once the warning has expired, you can move out of your area of shelter, but still stay indoors. And as Tom mentioned multiple times, just know that there is more activity on the way throughout the remainder of the evening. Through at least 10 o'clock, we are looking at thunderstorms in our area. I think as we get to midnight, most of this will be out of here. But remember, we have a tornado watch that goes until 10 p.m. for all of South southeast Wisconsin. This is just, we'll say, kind of the first wave of it potentially.
And the hail, if we want to go back to the hail, I think that we're going to watch, by the way, northeastern Waukesha County if that rotation picks up. But look at the hail. This is why the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for places like Germantown and Mequon. This could be hail over 2 inches in diameter, and that is huge. That is larger than golf balls. We have had reports of tennis ball sized hail out of these storms. This is serious, and this is new roof type hail, as I'm kind of liking to say here, because that gives you an idea of how rare this is, right? I mean, this is not little hailstones here and there.
Right.
This is monster size hail, even by Kansas standards for us here in Wisconsin.
And that's the way it was as this storm or these cells originated, west of Madison. From the get-go, they strengthened very quickly, and hail was at first the primary threat. At one point, parts of Dane County, had reports of softball size hail. That's over 3 inches in diameter. So clearly that is still the trend, with the fact that these storms are continuing to stay warned and continue to move towards the east. In fact, that hail core approaching Menominee Falls right now, southern Ozaukee County, probably dealing with some large hail at this point in time, and of course, those of us in far northern Milwaukee County.
And Ted Perry just walked in. Ted, do you have any reports to give us here tonight?
I was just traveling west on Brown Deer Road. I had gone home to take care of the dog, and it is dark, and you can hear the hail starting.
Oh, really?
Okay,
okay.
Great.
You can hear the hail. Hitting cars, we have the glass ceiling here.
Yes, up in our
FOX6,
atrium.
And I wasn't aware that we were all down here.
Oh,
It's a bit of a ghost town.
Well, I'm so glad you joined us.
So you walked in and went, what happened to everybody?
Yeah, so you can hear, I don't know if you can hear
Oh, my
the hail.
goodness.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Hopefully our skylights didn't break, because that...
I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them do crack. You can't really see that
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The constant weather.
How heavy that hail.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we're getting hit by it here.
And it's even bigger just up to the north.
Yeah.
Menominee Falls up to Mequon. Well, Ted, I'm glad you're safe. And,
Thanks,
and I'm
Ted.
glad you didn't think we ditched you when you walked into the television station and found nobody, a ghost town around.
Let's check in with chat and see if there's anything new from the National Weather Service. It
Yeah,
doesn't look like there is.
I have a feeling here that within the next couple of minutes, the tornado warning will be allowed to expire, and they may even cancel it a bit early, which would be good. And let's hope here that that is something that we can then kind of resume our normal severe weather coverage. But
yeah, absolutely.
So it does look like there's still some rotation heading towards Whitefish Bay. So we don't want to completely, you still want to stay.
And it's those brief little spin-ups again.
Yes. There's a little bit of rotation around Brookfield. I'm not overly concerned about that. And again, I'm looking at,
See? You can see it.
Yep, there's a little bit of rotation over Brookfield. Wouldn't write that off, but that's not overly concerning. It's stronger heading into Whitefish Bay.
Yeah.
So this is where you need to stay in your tornado safe spot. Again, you're almost over the lake here, but we need to get this out over the lake before we can completely head back upstairs here and get out of the basement.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to keep an eye on this rotation, though. It'll be interesting to see what that next scan has. Like you said,
Brookfield?
thankfully. Actually, for Whitefish Bay.
Yeah.
But yes, both.
Yep, and again, the amount of wind that we have. And guys, a favor to ask, if someone could pull up the power outage numbers, that would really help us as well. We'll check in with We Energies here. Here comes the latest scan. Sweep. Ooh. You can see, well, really, the Brookfield one appears to be getting maybe just a touch stronger.
Yeah.
And you can see, this is supercell number 2. Well, I mean, they're all merging together. This is really a wild scenario here. So here's what's going to happen. Now, the tornado threat, this rotation is actually going to come right over American Family Field. Thank you, Jeff. So the current outages are, over 20,000 without power, and the most customers are in Waukesha County right now, in particular Sussex, with over 3,000 without power, Brookfield over 2,000, Oconomowoc about 2,000, Pewaukee close to 2,000, so the city of Milwaukee 787. So it's right where we had that couplet
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the Oconomowoc area.
Yes,
Oconomowoc
really and then right over to Sussex, right through Lake Country.
Right.
So a lot of over 20,000 without power right now. Now, the baseball stadium, AmFam Field, is going to get hit pretty hard here. Although, again, not overly concerned about a tornado at the moment. Waukesha, you're getting hit hard. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder. The hail portion of this, again, it's big-time hail right over Mequon. Mequon to Germantown, straight down Mequon Road right now. A lot of hail with that. Did you hear that thunder?
I did hear that thunder.
We're tucked away in the basement.
It is very loud.
You can hear that thunder just, I mean, you almost jump down here in the
like
basement.
to know.
West of Madison, there are several going down towards Dubuque and other ones west of Ripon right now. So this is what's incoming for us here. It looks like they might have. Let's see. Let's check in here.
Check in with the National Weather Service.
See if they may have just let that warning drop.
They canceled it a little
Good
early.
news. All right, so the tornado warning is canceled. Hey, Fox 6, we can go back upstairs. So thanks for it. Kale Zimney, excellent job. Thank you very much for setting this up. We may have to come back down here later.
Yeah,
we don't
very
know.
well. Yeah, I'll stay down here while you make your way upstairs.
Absolutely. Yep, and then we'll
we can look at maybe
transition
some damage
back.
reports.
So, all right. So again, tornado warning expired, so you can get out of your tornado safe location, but we're not necessarily out of the woods here.
Yeah, and so I have hail tracker up right now, clearly around Menominee Falls, northwest, excuse me, as well as southern Ozaukee County. That is still a large hail core. So make sure you're still staying inside. Again, the warning has expired, so you can leave your tornado safe spot, but still know that this is a pretty nasty storm that continues to impact these areas. And now I'm going to try to zoom out here. I want to put the warnings map back on because I am getting a little more concerned with Fond du Lac County. Remember earlier we talked about how there are plenty more storms out towards the west. So why don't I put up our other warnings here, and I will try to zoom out. You can also still see here, okay, parts of northern Milwaukee County as well as Waukesha County, we are still under a severe thunderstorm warning. So our tornado warning was canceled a little early, but we are still dealing with the potential for strong wind, and as we just talked about, the potential for some hail. And there's the green on, more so towards the west, that is that flash flood warning. So that's the other factor to this. We don't have an additional flash flood warning here locally, but we are likely dealing with heavy rainfall, and we've already seen so much rain. So just watch out for ponding on roadways and just still the potential for very heavy rainfall. All right, here's the zoomed out view of all of these storms. There is so much lightning. I need to turn it off because otherwise it's really hard to see them. There is still so much off towards the west. So we need to monitor these storms very closely. I'll put up the watches and warnings map so we can kind of check in on what is still in effect. So Fond du Lac County, it looks like we have a severe thunderstorm warning in the north. Oh, and they must have just issued that in the northwestern edge. Let me see if I can get details on that for you. So this is for 1-inch size hail as well as a tornado possible because there is still, oh, someone brought me hail. Thank you so much. Wow. I hope that doesn't melt. I would like to bring, can you go give it to Tom? Okay, thank you. It's probably going to melt, but that's a decent sized hail. I mean, at least quarter size here, I would say, and it's probably melted a little bit. All right, I want to talk about Fond du Lac County because there are a couple of different areas of weak rotation in western parts of that county. I'm looking at a different image here. It looks like maybe south of Ripon and west of Rosendale. So that severe thunderstorm warning, that little orange box that you see, that does have a line in it that says tornado possible. So it's very possible that that may end up being our next tornado warning if those areas of rotation perk up a little bit. In fact, I just heard a ding, so Tom must be in.
Oh, hello. You can hear me. Oh, we're up. Hello.
Oh,
okay.
There you go. Okay, great. Tom,
I'm back.
I was just
so
saying.
Steph, you can make your way up from the basement. Let me tell you though, it's crazy outside. The amount of rain. In fact, we are at 1.13 inches. I'm not going to totally step outside, but I just want you to hear it. Right?
Oh, wow, I can hear it.
I mean, it sounds like one of those, relaxation commercials with all the heavy
Is
rain.
it still hailing?
It is not, at least at the moment. However, we still have chunks of hail on the deck. So it certainly has hailed. We heard from Ted about the hail as well. And Stephanie, as you've talked about, these warnings are going to continue. And we are currently in discussions that we may very well just be staying with you here for most of the night. And we're looking at programming and all that sort of a thing. But, look, this, as you can see, let me turn the lightning off. Look what's coming. You know what I mean? And think about last night. If you were watching us until, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, we had a similar setup, but it was a little farther north, where we had that line in Fond du Lac and Sheboygan, the west to east line. Then we had the north-south line coming through. Similar setup, but stronger, number one. And number two, this is going to come in a little earlier than the time frame last night. So I think what's going to end up happening here is that we're going to need to... Oh, you got some hail. Yeah. Hey. Awesome. Thank you so much. A little bit of hail, little piece of hail. All right. Thank you so much. Little piece of hail out there. It doesn't look like it was overly big, at least within the last couple of minutes. However, I think we're going to end up with more hail, and we could end up with more tornado warnings. Now, let me check in here with the National Weather Service just so we can kind of get up to speed on exactly what's going on here because, Stephanie, welcome back.
Thank you.
So here is the latest. Okay, so the severe thunderstorm warnings, let's just kind of take you on a tour here. Tornado watch goes until 10. Severe thunderstorm warnings until 7:30. This is for that monster hail in southwestern Ozaukee County, northern Milwaukee County. We'll look at that in just a moment. And then we have what's about to expire in about 10 minutes, the severe thunderstorm warning for northeast Waukesha, southern Washington counties. Okay, and then we have a flash flood warning. That's in effect until 9:15. That's for southern Dodge and northern and northwestern parts of Jefferson County. All right, so that's what's currently in effect. And let me take you up into northwest Fond du Lac County because we also have a severe thunderstorm warning that's including the Ripon area. That's in effect until 7:30 tonight. That's mainly for wind. So that's including the Rosendale area, Ripon, and over to Green Lake as well. So that is what we have. And then you see west of Madison, tornado warnings, and then going down the line. I mean, look at northwest Illinois into Iowa. So this is what's heading our way. All right, so that kind of gives you a tour of what's happening. Now, let's show you the... Okay, are we able to... let me show this quickly, and then I want to take a quick feed of Fox Weather that's in Iowa, as they have their chasers that are out there as well, to see what's going on there. But this is what's going to be coming in, and let's take a look quickly at Fox Weather, and if they end up taking... it looks like Haley Meyer, she's great. She might be out chasing there as well. And so let's keep an eye out, Jennifer, on that. And if that ends up becoming, if they are showing some interesting things, we'll go ahead and take that. Do we have Lisa Michaels at all? I'd be interested to chat with her. Yeah, see where she's ended up.
Because she's probably on the backside of this.
Yep, and so...
We're staying on.
Okay, we are going to stay on. Okay, excellent. We're going to be staying on with coverage. And for programming details of, I know we had several shows on tonight. Stay tuned for that. Our folks are working on that in terms of making sure that you're going to get to see your programs, albeit a bit delayed. So, but you can certainly understand why we are staying on with you here. Okay, this is Fox Weather. Our Haley Meyer from Fox Weather is currently on the Iowa portion of this storm. And look at how dark it is over there as well. So she's on the southwest side of this line. Okay, so this is the same line that's heading up to Madison. And that is what she is watching over there. And of course, we're showing you this because this is the same type of storm, the same line that's heading in our direction. And I believe, does she have the tornado there? It looks like, if you look straight ahead, that's what she's looking at. Hard to tell behind the building and the trees, but she is in there. Yeah, it's a confirmed observed tornado. So I believe she's looking right at that here.
Wow.
So
a very clear rotation.
Right. So that's the one, and we can take a look at that as well. It looks like that supercell, which is near Bellevue, again, that's out of our area, and that's what they're looking at on screen that you're seeing there too. It looks like, as of now, that's going to head towards Freeport. However, we'll see if that ends up changing direction. All right, so we're back to our radar here. Again, Bellevue is down here in northwest Iowa, east of Dubuque, that whole mess that's over there. So again, just to reiterate here, looks like the tornado warning for west of Madison is going to be allowed to expire. So you can kind of see what's coming for the rest of the night. So we're going to stay on air with you here because it's going to continue to get very noisy. Let's just take a look at a couple of things. Number one, want to take a look at the hail. And we'll pull this up here. So you can see the monster. Good news is, the monster hail from those two supercells, Steph,
out over the lake.
Moving out over the lake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Flash
great.
flood warning.
Oh, and this is not surprising.
No, I mean, did you see the rain?
Yes. I mean, it is still actively raining right now,
Yes.
but this also includes Milwaukee County.
Correct. And so let me just pull the severe thunderstorm warning off here for you, just so you can get an idea of where this flash flood warning is. And so this is actually for a big chunk now. So this is going from Cedarburg and Grafton, the Highway 60 corridor, Cedarburg, Jackson, Hartford, Erin, and south, and then into Pewaukee, Menominee Falls, and down to Whitefish Bay, so including our Brown Deer studios here as well, which we can attest the rain has been very heavy.
And Tom, I can tell you right now we're up to 1.5 inches here.
Oh my goodness, did that surge?
The station.
That just surged.
Absolutely, and it's still actively raining at a heavy rate.
And this is going for another 3 hours, so you need to check your sump pumps here. Okay, I'm sorry, Jen, you had mentioned here... Okay, Lisa, let's go ahead and take you here. Sorry, Lisa, we were in the basement. So now we want to talk about what you are seeing.
No.
Are you in downtown Milwaukee here?
Yeah, so we're just on the east side of Milwaukee. When you guys went to the basement, pretty much, we were in Brookfield heading towards the lakefront. We saw that kind of shelf cloud looking picture that you had as well, and I didn't want to take us north into the larger hail. So we knew that by what we were looking at, the rotation was going down. We were going to take a quick pit stop also for us to just get out of the car for a minute and use the restroom. We're back in the car now. Of course, we are again in downtown Milwaukee. We had some people ask us if there was a tornado. We said, no, the warning's going to expire. We're still seeing a lot of cars out, people walking right now, even though there is a lot of lightning. I will say, though, we have our camera looking west, and we do see some lightening up, but we are going to be tracking more rain, more lightning moving through. And of course, past that, we have the cells still in more of a line shape, in fact, off towards Dane County and Madison, heading towards areas of Rock County, Monroe, and southward into Illinois, which it is going to be a very active evening, just like you mentioned, Tom. Very noisy. Steph, you guys have been doing such a great job at keeping people informed downstairs. It definitely, now we can maybe zoom into this. We are seeing a rather large tree now down on the street. Can you see that?
Yeah, we see it. Yeah. And it looks like
Eric,
it snapped,
what
too.
street is this, to be precise? Do you know? Yeah, so it looks like we have
Jefferson Street.
So we are on Jefferson Street, Eric just told me, and we again are seeing this very large tree branch that has snapped and is on the ground. In fact, there's a couple cones that look to have been put up for that, so people who are driving, because it's still very dark out here and hard to see, they can at least get that visual of, hey, you know, you're going to want to drive around that. But yeah, the tree looks like it completely snapped, the entire part of it. There's one branch still on the top part, but the majority of that tree, that's going to be down. And I would expect more areas with the stronger winds moving through. Also, we'll have some tree damage as well. You know, Tom, you dealt with that, a lot of that last night when you and Rob were covering the storms moving through. So we're not seeing a lot of damage as we drive around. Again, we haven't gone north where the heaviest of activity was, just so that we are staying out of the extremely large hail. So we're still continuing to track this. Of course, large tree down on the road right now, especially, I guess, the exact area. It looks like we're on North Milwaukee Street in between Juneau and Knapp Street. So that's kind of where we are. We again are still seeing people walking out in lightning, which again, some kids are looking to take shelter underneath one of the awnings of some of the doors. With the storms moving through, especially all of the lightning and whipping rain we're starting to see right now, really take caution. Lightning is one of those things that can hit you even if you think we're just seeing heavy rain. So thankfully we're not seeing any additional tornado warnings right now. This is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning, and we're going to kind of just sit place for a minute, figuring out where we should go next. I know the big line of storms is coming in, and while we can still look at some of the line coming in from the west, it also can be a little more dangerous to chase after a line of storms because there's not a precise back out plan or safety plan if we were to go west and chase that. So we'll probably stay local, see what we can see. Of course, still tracking some of the showers and storms moving through, and we will be able to give you updates as well. We are continuing again to not see much in terms of hail right here at the moment, especially since most of that hail was north, but with the additional lines coming in, there's still a lot of tornado warnings, and that is favorable to again be continuing towards the lake, causing the threat for more strong to severe storms, where a lot of that, it looks to bring more damaging winds and very heavy rain. One of the things I know you guys have been mentioning and been analyzing is the hail within a lot of these storms, as well as the heavy rain, which can lead to some flooding in spots. So, you know, this is just the beginning of what has moved through. There is going to be more on the way, having a very active night. So we are keeping our eyes on the road out here locally to make sure that everyone has a view of what's going on and that you guys are informed and staying safe. We have, again, Rob's been sending in reports. We have Tom, you know, you and Stephanie have been doing such a great job with this event, tracking what's going on. So we're going to continue to stay here locally and see what's going to come through. It looks like we might have a little bit of hail coming our way. So I'm going to analyze that for a few minutes to make sure we are going to be in a safe spot. But if we see anything else, we will get back to you and let you know.
That flag, look at the flag there on the left-hand side of the screen. Oh, yeah. Here comes the wind. This is another batch. Lisa, thank you so much. You and Eric are doing a wonderful job there on the east side of Milwaukee tonight. And we've had tree damage. We had it last night. We're getting it again. And here's why. So, just to be clear, no tornado warnings in effect right now, but this is a powerhouse of more rain, heavy rain, and a little bit of hail and strong winds coming through downtown Milwaukee, coming through American Family Field right now. Of course, we've got the roof, but you know you're still going to be hearing a lot of that thunder for the folks at the Brewers game reverberating through the stadium. That's for sure. Flooding is going to become a huge threat for us here. In fact, Steph, could we take a look at our tower camera again? I'd be interested to see kind of how
it's picked up again.
It has, and we're at 1.65 now. I mean, the rain is just piling up. Look at this.
Here you go.
My goodness. So let's hold this for a minute.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I am most concerned about flash flooding. That's becoming my biggest concern now. The hail with the line off to the west, which we'll get into detail with here in a few minutes, is coming down a little bit in intensity. Now, what we had last night is they were kind of weak storms off to the west, and then they blew up over us, right? So these storms could re-intensify. So hail, wind, tornadoes will be possible as this next line comes through. This is not it. The line is still out by Madison. That will shoot through Milwaukee probably after about 8:30 tonight. So we still have a good hour and a half before that line comes through for us. So this is another sort of bulge that's developed with a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder, very heavy rainfall, and gusty winds. So that's what's coming through now, and that's you saw Lisa in the downtown and east side of Milwaukee area dealing with those strong winds as well. But it's the nearly nonstop lightning that is continuing out of this as well. So we have had 1 to 2 inch diameter hail, which is huge. I mean, by our standards, 2-inch diameter hail in the Menominee Falls area from earlier as well. So again, this is looking from our rooftop, and we're looking off to the west here. Very, very soggy, very, very wet. We have a flash flood warning in effect for a large part of the Milwaukee metro area. So this is everywhere from Waterloo and Watertown to the west, stretching through Lake Country up to Slinger, Germantown, Mequon, Milwaukee, and points to the north, and that is in effect until 10:30 tonight. Now, still a couple of tornado warnings off to the west. Big severe thunderstorm warning out for the Madison area, and that warning is in effect for ping pong ball sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Let's just kind of show you here what's going on, and I'll tell you, Stephanie, this is just my gut feeling as to what's going on, is we have this area that's coming through now, okay? So this was Supercell 1 and Supercell 2 combining, and now it's kind of building off of it as well, right back into the town of Erin, for example, as well, and then up towards Beaver Dam with some heavy rain. Now, as we look off to the west and the southwest, this is where we're still seeing some hail and strong winds. It does appear like the line itself is weakening a little bit in intensity, which is good. However, what I have a feeling is going to happen here is a lot of this is going to start to fill in, because you're starting to see a little more rain on the eastern side of this, and you're seeing rain on the backside of the line as well. So, Stephanie, my biggest overarching concern for all of us, especially where we're getting this batch now, is going to be flash flooding, and we have more rain coming in tomorrow, and we're already on saturated ground. We could still have wind, we could still have hail, we could still have tornadoes, but, you know, my eyes are starting to go more, you know, kind of a red alert, if you will, for flash flooding.
No, I completely agree, especially based off of what our rainfall total is here at the station, and it is not letting up. I'm just going to zoom in on this area too, just so you can get an idea of how heavy the rain still is across these northern communities. It looks like, I'm just checking in on our National Weather Service chat here. Oh, we did get another hail report from Menominee Falls, and it does look like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Greene and Rock County. So that's not technically for us, but it is for the southern edge of this line. But back to the heavy rain threat. Now, I hate to bring us back to last summer, but we have been through a flooding event not too long ago. So we remember we need to take the potential for flash flooding very seriously, as it is still just coming down and not really moving terribly fast. So especially parts of Washington, Ozaukee counties into Waukesha and Milwaukee County. It looks like it's even starting to fill in a little bit across southern Milwaukee County too. Heavy rain is falling at this point in time again, and it is just piling up here at the station. We're now at over 1.7 inches worth of rain. Now, northern communities, we're talking Fond du Lac as well as Sheboygan County, with last night's batch, picked up 1 to 2 inches of rain. In fact, western Fond du Lac County had a rainfall total of almost 2.5 inches. Now, I know they're not seeing the heaviest of rain, though it's really coming down in Fond du Lac County, but we've seen so much in the last couple of weeks. We're talking since the end of March. We have had so much rain here locally. So unfortunately, I do agree with Tom that this could be more of a flash flooding event going forward. Let's check in on some of those newest warnings. Again, they are outside of our viewing area, but we can still talk about them because they're getting close. Well, number one, we still have that remaining severe thunderstorm warning for southern Ozaukee, northern Milwaukee County for only a few minutes longer. That continues until 7:30. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to backtrack because we were hearing from emergency managers in Ozaukee County that there are some flooded roadways now. Mequon Road from Wauwatosa Road to east of 43. Tom, that's
my zone.
That's your
right
zone.
There. Really? So that big of a stretch?
Yeah, that big of a stretch. It says a few other reports of intersections south of Mequon Road. We're talking inches of standing water.
Yeah, and that's very close to our television station, of course, as well. Yes, I'm very familiar with that area. By the way, this is a new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped up, so southwest of Beaver Dam, for small hail, gusty winds, in effect until 7:45. I think we're going to have more severe thunderstorm warnings, Steph.
I
do.
You
know, as we talked about, the flooding is really, really, really going to be a big deal. Please check your basements. Your sump pumps are probably running nonstop. As of right now, there's no real concern for tornadoes. But, everything is kind of screaming at this point, flash flooding. I just put out, we have obviously not been on social media since we've been on the air this whole time. But if you follow me on Facebook, I just asked for damage reports or flooding reports. So if you have those, Tom Walks TV on Facebook, I believe. So let's take a look. Mayfair, we got video coming in from the Mayfair
area.
Let's take a look. Yeah, so we're going to look at this together here for you. And we'll get that going. Again, I really think flash flooding is going to be a concern. But, much like last night, the storms come through and then you kind of have a delay before damage reports and flooding reports come in. And I think we're getting into that window now. And this is just the first batch to come through. And this is why I know we've made such a big deal about it. And we continue to make a big deal about it. And this is why, because of all the various threats. Let's take a look. Again, this is the Mayfair area. Oh, look at this.
Oh, wow.
Boy, is that something. Mayfair Mall. Yeah, look at that. So this was from earlier. And, yeah, boy, was that ominous. You know what I bet this is, Steph? Just a guess. You can only obviously see a part of it. I bet you that's the shelf cloud.
Yeah, I bet it is, too.
Oh, do we have a time
that
lapse?
That would be great.
Let's get this. This
From
is the time lapse.
Station.
Yep. This is you're going to see a different view of what you're seeing here. And this was the shelf cloud that came through that, again, with all the wind, all the rain, and all the hail. Graham, by the way, thank you so much for sending this in to us. Boy, is that a...
very ominous, but it almost mimics kind of what we were looking at from the...
Can I go ahead and call out our friends at PF Chang's?
Oh, gosh.
PF Chang's, I see what you're doing there. I get it. You're going outside and taking pictures. Look, everyone's going outside and taking... You're busted. You're so busted. They're
pointing too.
You're not supposed to do that, but, well, we're just poking fun at you. Okay, I'm sorry. You said we have Lisa now? Okay, let's show you what's going on. Lisa is in downtown Milwaukee. Torrents of rain right now as that is continuing, and that's going to continue here as we go through the next really several hours. So, we've got the flash flood warnings that are in effect right now. Oh, that poor person running out in the rain.
Oh, gosh. It is so heavy right now.
It really is. And that's something
not letting up.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll keep monitoring that. If we get the time lapse from our rooftop from earlier, we can bring that up as well. But let's go back. Let's go to the radar and really get going more as to what's going on. By the way, if you're tuning in and wondering, hey, where is our programming tonight? We are delaying that programming because of weather coverage. So stay tuned because our folks are working behind the scenes to get that programming schedule for you. And as soon as we learn that, we will certainly let you know. So we have not forgotten about you there, but obviously serious weather taking precedence tonight as this is turning from what was tornado warnings and very large hail to likely more of a flash flooding event here as we go throughout the night. Notice what's happening here. Let's look at Milwaukee and Waukesha counties. Look at how the rain is continuing to build. See what I mean? So this corridor from Dodge into northern Jefferson, northern Waukesha that has been hit so hard, Washington County that has been hit so hard, and then that corridor really from 94 and north, stretching from downtown Milwaukee and the stadium right up through Ozaukee County. Look at how more rain that's going to be coming in. This is going to be a lot of rain here, and we still may have severe weather to deal with, but if we've already had flooding, for example, in Mequon, and that's a large stretch of Mequon Road from Wauwatosa Road going all the way over to Interstate 43, that's several miles, and if we're seeing flooding either all along or even within patches along that corridor, that's not going away anytime soon because there is more rain coming on through. Let's take a look at that tower cam from earlier because this really kind of sets the stage. Actually, hang on a minute.
We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Get that up on screen for you. It was extended eastward from Dane County, but Tom, you can go through the latest here.
Sure, yeah, this is Jefferson and Dodge. I know, it's like we can't get a break, Steph, out of this, and here we go.
Moving east.
Yep, and I think this will continue to sweep through, kind of in the same area that we just brought up, right? In terms of both the heavy rain. This is for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. So let's differentiate this here from what we had earlier, because I know you guys are very much on edge going, some of that hail was huge. Some of that hail was absolutely huge from earlier. We are not seeing that now. Okay, so we're still seeing some hail, but it's much, much smaller than before. Rain's going to be the big threat, but also 60-mile-per-hour winds. So it's this severe thunderstorm warning. Expiration time is 8:30. So, Steph, this is going to run for an hour, and I have a feeling what's going to happen, and we saw this at about 1 o'clock, 1:15 in the morning with that batch as well, where the National Weather Service started issuing 1-hour blocks of severe thunderstorm warnings because of the confidence level that these things are going to make it all the way to the lake.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can pull the radar back up so you can see the main line is actually just now crossing into far western Dodge County. It's not even quite to western Jefferson County just yet, but it is on the way. And so as Tom mentioned, we are looking at the potential of hail as well as strong wind. And I'm just checking in real quick on our National Weather Service chat. Because actually just south in Evansville, they are monitoring some rotation. So that's also something we might need to watch very closely. And I can pull it up here to see if we can get an idea. Oh, yeah, there's a little bit there as I zoom in. So another little area, again, outside of our immediate viewing area, but definitely perks our ears up a little bit to hear the word rotation. I'll zoom back out. Let's go back over to the radar so we can see how this line is evolving. We're going to continue just to see the same things here. The hail threat, again, is not quite as big as what it was earlier, but this is still going to bring in some strong wind. This is, a line of storms now that's going to continue to work its way through parts of Dodge as well as Jefferson County. There's a lot of lightning with this as well. And looking closer to the lake too, can't downplay the fact that it is still raining very heavily at the station and across most of Milwaukee County, as well as Ozaukee County, Washington County, and points towards the north. Really, it's Racine, Kenosha, Walworth County, kind of the quiet spots right now, but that's going to change. In fact, why don't I put a track on this line out towards the west, see how far, I think it's moving east at about 50 miles per hour. So I know southern counties, you haven't seen a ton so far, but this is going to be your chance, at least this southernmost edge. And of course, we'll need to watch that weak rotation near Evansville. But let's just push this out. This is a pretty far track. So this is over the next hour and a half here. A lot of the same spots in the path of this, especially the Interstate 94 corridor. But as we look towards Walworth and as Racine County, you guys are eventually going to see this too. We've just got some time. In fact, of course, you guys aren't in the warning, but if it continues to maintain strength and potentially even strengthen, that could change. So again, we're going to watch this line as it continues to move eastward at about 50 miles per hour, Tom.
Yeah, it continues, Steph. I'm getting a lot of viewer reports from hail from earlier into Milwaukee. Also, a lot of flooding. A lot of you are saying, hey, my yard's a lake right now. If your yard is a lake right now, I've been hearing from folks in Ozaukee County as well with this, where we're getting the heavy rain. If your yard's a lake right now, there's more lake coming, unfortunately, because we got a lot more rain on the way. So, yeah, Stephanie, again, well, yes, wind and hail is a threat. Is a tornado still a threat? Yes, especially if this strengthens. The hope, though, here, at least from the severe thunderstorm standpoint, is that all of these storms that we've had come through is working over the atmosphere, okay? It's 59 here at our station right now with a southwesterly wind, which means that the rain has cooled the air. And so the storms are no longer ingesting that rich, moisture-rich, warm air that we had earlier. So the hope is that will keep these storms somewhat behaved from a severe weather standpoint. Not out of the woods, but that's likely what's going to happen with that low-end severe as we're seeing now. Flooding is a totally different story, and this, I think, is going to become a real big deal, especially in the corridor that's seeing the heavy rain right now along these county borders from Dodge, Jefferson, Washington, Waukesha, Ozaukee, Milwaukee. That's a concern. All right, I want to toss it over to our Ben Handelman because, Ben, I mentioned a lot of the flooding reports that we're getting, but Ted and Mary actually want to toss it over to you guys. Are you getting some damage reports? I know power outages are really stacking up here as well.
All right, Tom, thanks very much for all you're doing there.
Yeah, really appreciate that. It was those have been some really scary times. I just said to you, Ted, we were in the basement. In your time here, over 30 years, you've never had to hunker down in the basement.
Never once have we had to go down into a pretty sturdy basement for cover, let alone broadcast from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kudos to Tom and Stephanie and everybody and the engineers who made that work. So what are we doing here? Well, because we're going to have some power outage numbers for you here, and we're going to talk about these. Earlier in the day, when I was on Wisconsin Live Desk with Brendan Conway, Mary, we were down to like 12,000 after being as high as 40,000 from round one last night, right? Yeah. Well, look at where we are now. We're back up to 25,000. And once again, as it has been all day, Waukesha County bearing the brunt of all this with 15,956 right now. So crews, I made the analogy before, Mary, you got to take care of the lunch dishes before you can do the dinner dishes.
Oh, there you go.
And we're still working on the lunch dishes when people started to cook in the kitchen. So there's where we are right now with those numbers.
Yeah, let's. We're going to toss back to Tom. We have a time lapse of all this, but Tommy, are you getting some new information here on any updates for these advisories?
Up to you here. This is from 6:27 tonight. This is from earlier, again, just over an hour ago, right here. Confirmed tornado in Sussex. Remember, we were tracking that couplet, and this is what sent us into the basement here in northern Milwaukee County. Let me read this to you. From 6:27 tonight, radar confirmed tornadic debris signature at this location. We were tracking that, remember, on radar at the time? Multiple roofs have been ripped off of a commercial facility reported by law enforcement and siding damage to a nearby church. So again, this is from earlier, not anymore, it's no longer on the ground, but Sussex, you got hit by a tornado tonight, and it did damage. So we will likely have a crew heading out to that location. Again, multiple roofs ripped off of a commercial facility and siding damage to a nearby church. That is likely what we saw on radar, the roof flying off. Or maybe the siding, but probably the roof being picked up, or roofs being picked up on radar, which is that debris signature that we saw. 6:27 tonight, a tornado in the Sussex area. So we will effort more information on that, but that is the first and the only confirmed tornado that we have from the night tonight. But Ted, Mary, you were talking about, us going to the basement, and thankfully everybody did, because that was the same cell that Ted, I think you had just come in from, or maybe you had just gotten out ahead of when you came back to the station after letting the dog out, or trying to walk the dog, and you just said how the torrents of rain and the hail falling, that was the same cell that you experienced.
I was doing a Facebook Live there, Tom, and he came back, pretty drenched. I was wondering what it was about out there. Christina Van Zelst had just come in from being on the road, covering this, and she had said there's a lot of hail coming down. we were really worried about that. Let's take you to some video. Tom, we'll give you a break there to take a drink of water, catch your breath, and look at some data. This is from Heartland right now. Now look at those winds. The intensity it looks almost like snow. No, that's rain blowing through there, and no doubt some hail as well moving along there. Boy, those are really gusty winds right now.
What shocked me as I was out in it, Mary, was how quickly it got dark.
Really?
So let's talk about some flooded roads and other things right now as we take a look at some different video that I can tell you about. We're going to just show you this time lapse of that tornado that Tom just talked about. But
well, you just said how so you had left just after 6 o'clock. By the time you got back, which wasn't that long, it was really dark, you said.
Yeah, and I was back home taking care of the dog back here.
Yeah.
6:45-ish when I saw how dark it was getting.
Boy.
And darker as you went further west on Brown Deer Road toward the station. And that's when we were about 20, I shouldn't say, about 2 minutes outside the station when the hail just started to hit.
How was it driving back to the station? I mean, was it any of your visibility?
It was fine on Port Road, but then when you started to go west, that's when you saw the dramatic change. And this is it right here. This is the video on my dashboard cam of how it looked right there. And you can see how dark it got. You can see, I'm going to have Tom and Stephanie look at that cloud structure there to tell us more about it. But this is heading west on Brown Deer Road toward the station at about 6:45 tonight.
Wow, look at how dark that is.
How dark it was, really. And then this is when the hail started to pound, and you could hear it. Now, we also have a glass roof, a glass ceiling here at the WITI studios, and I know we have video of that, and I hope we can get it for you, because the audio, I took it when I walked in and I saw that everyone had evacuated the newsroom, it was downstairs, so I figured pretty quickly that you guys were all downstairs staying safe.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have that, Jen, if we could find that video, because you can really hear the hail hitting our glass ceiling here at the FOX6 studio, so hopefully we can do that.
Well, and, let's talk about, we didn't take a picture of it, but let's just talk about some flooding even as you opened the door to the front. We all come from the side usually, the side door. There's a big puddle right there just showing the intensity. And if you have any openings at all, I mean, everybody's going through this. There's going to be puddling everywhere.
Yeah.
Hopefully your homes are okay. Basements, sump pumps, hopefully those are kicking on because there's a lot of water out there.
Those reports will start to come in as this system clears by. I think right now people are in the stay safe mode, and that's totally acceptable and understandable. I want to talk about flooded roads. We'll get to Lisa in just a second. Talk about some flooded roads here. Intersection on Mequon Road from Tosa Road east to I-43. Roads flooded there. Intersections with 3 to 6 inches of standing water. So if you're driving tonight and you really shouldn't be, watch those areas.
Well, and for like second shifters, third shifters, if you're headed to work there, again, never drive through those standing puddles of water. I know we say it all the time, but sometimes it's a knee-jerk, oh no, but you can't drive through standing water. Let's get right out to Lisa Michaels right now.
They should have taken us.
Who is in our... well, we're taking you now, girl.
So make the most of it.
Tell us exactly where you are, and obviously you're seeing a lot of... Yep. Tell us where you are, Lisa.
Can you guys hear me? So we are going north on 43, and we're almost about to cross over Good Hope Road. You guys just missed it. I mean, we went through a portion of the interstate that was flooded all the way across, and it came up quick. The rain's still falling down, and it's dark outside, so it was us and a couple other cars around us that just had massive puddles thrown in the air. So keep in mind that even some of the lower areas of the interstate, they're going to accumulate water very quickly as we are still continuing to track the heavy rain moving through. Now, we're currently on our way to head to some of the flooded areas. We had some reports of flooded vehicles near 85th and Greenbrook, not too far from the station. That's going to be right near the Menards. So our main goal is to head there to see what we can actually see, if anything, because again, it is still dark and very rainy. And then we're going to try to make our way, if possible, towards Mequon Road, which you just mentioned, Ted and Mary, where some of the flooding is. And again, not driving through the waters, but to get some sort of visual of how bad it may be. Of course, with flooded waters, just like you guys have been saying, you do not want to go through them. Of course, we don't know if there's any debris, how deep it is. And also, a lot of times when we have roads that are flooded, we also can be dealing with roads caved out underneath, and there could even be a current underneath. So you really cannot tell how deep water is unless you go through it, which of course is very dangerous, not recommended. Plus, we're still dealing with thunderstorms. Keep that in mind. Of course, any kind of lightning that can strike the ground, that current can go through the ground and go through the water as well. So again, we're continuing to go further north. We are about to get off on Brown Deer Road right now, and we're going to be making our way towards the Menards, where there is apparently some flooded vehicles right now. I will say this, you can see on our camera, visibility is certainly not great. We are tracking heavy rain that's continuing. Windshield wipers are on almost full blast, if not full blast. Eric's been doing a phenomenal job driving around tonight as we've been tracking these strong to severe storms. So have we seen cars on the road? Yes. I will say more people have not been on the road as much as I typically would see during some of the rush hour period, which we have been out, but we are going to continue to track this. And again, we are on the ground covering the area, not only tracking the storms, but now one of the main concerns, which Tom and Steph have been talking about, it's the flooding concern as we have flash flood warnings across the area. And it is going to be very hard for some people because it may bring back a sour memory of the flooding and a fear for some. I know I've dealt with some people in Mequon just a couple days ago talking to them that they're worried their basements could be flooded again, and they're still trying to rebuild from the flooding that we dealt with earlier this year.
Totally.
So again, we are heading towards the station, give you another view out there. We are going to continue again to give you the updates, but stay tuned with us. I'm going to toss it back to you guys in the studio.
Totally understandable that people are anxious and nervous about what could be coming into their basements in a matter of hours. You mentioned you drove through on 43 some real low areas of flooding, specifically where you were heading north. Was it at the Silver Spring exit? Was it at Good Hope? Where did you see that flooding so we can tell people to stay away from there?
Yeah, so it was right before Good Hope Road. And now actually, we're going to take a pause for a minute. It was right before Good Hope Road. We are heading towards the station on Brown Deer Road. We actually have cars. We have cars right now turning around. It looks to be that there is flooded water right now on the road right now. So I'm going to give you an exact location where we are. We are on Brown Deer Road, just past New Spruce Road. So this is going to be by the Brightner Connection electrical area. So again, heading right towards Hawthorne Road, which is to our north. You can see we have cars turning around, and it's always good. You want to turn around, don't drown. They're not wanting to take the risk of driving through. Now, again, it's hard to really see how deep the water is. We do have a car in front of us putting on their hazards going through. We have another car that looks to be going through. Actually, I think why we're stopping is there is someone who might be stuck in the water on the left-hand side. So, you know, Eric, I'm going to leave this up to you. It's hard to see. I know we see other vehicles going through.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to turn around if we can.
Yeah, let's go ahead, guys, and turn around. Let's do what we ask others to do, and not drive through it.
Yeah, I would say turn around. Yeah. Obviously, when you can do that. It was appear as though there is.
We're getting in the turn lane right now. It looks like that was just the part of it, but we're going to turn around and find a safer way to try to head back. You know, it's not just the areas on the interstate, not just Mequon Road, but the rain is coming down at such a heavy rate. It's really hard to even see how deep the water is, and we're still going through some pooling. I don't know if our tire, you can't even see the camera because it's completely immersed underneath the water now. So again, we're going to continue to try to find a different route to the station, and we'll toss it back to you guys right now.
Real quickly, are there any emergency personnel out there? Any law enforcement telling people to turn around, or are they doing that on their own?
No. You know, we are having people turning around on their own. There is no cones. There is no any kind of one in the EMS out here. I think there's just so many areas right now where the flooding has picked up rapidly because of the heavy rain that it's really hard for enforcement to target all these different areas, because it's not just one. I mean, this is at least the second one we've driven through, and very quick spurts of flooding. So we're going to have to see. But unfortunately, you know, Ted and Mary, I do think this is going to become more of an issue through the upcoming hours, which isn't good because obviously we know it's dark outside. If you can't see without street lights, you're certainly not going to see the flooding. And we really want people to heed those warnings as well and make sure you are staying safe. And if you can just stay home, do not try to drive through those flooded waters. You can see we turned around and we're going to try again, I think, to find a different way back, probably taking the interstate further north.
Yeah, it looked as though, to Ted's point, those were emergency vehicles perhaps, but it was too hard to tell if they were brake lights or emergency personnel trying to help that person
it was
submerged.
Not.
Right. Yeah, at least you're...
Yeah, so it was just a normal car.
Okay.
So it looked like someone was there. Someone was certainly leaning over. I couldn't tell you if it was someone that was in the car, someone that was maybe from a house nearby, but it certainly was not EMS vehicles. I can tell you that.
Gotcha.
Okay, great. We do have some, Lisa, we're going to check back in with you shortly. We do have some flooding video that we want to show you just to kind of underscore the intensity and illustrate how widespread damage this is. We're going to have that flooding video in just a bit. But, you know, Ted, we got some information while Lisa was talking about, so we do have video now. This is the flooding video. Okay, what we were waiting for. Here we go. Yeah, look at all this ponding off to the side. And, you know, there's so much construction right now, Ted, and certainly not helping matters, but look at that.
Oh my gosh, so Amanda goes... I'm yelling into the mic.
Okay. So yeah, Lisa, let's cut the mic there.
Let's cut Lisa's mic if we could. Yep. There we go. And this is video that they took a few moments ago when they were heading north on I-43, and you could see just the splashing there and the slowing down. And
so hard to. Yeah. Again, if you can stay off the roads, just do it. Emergency personnel, there's only so many, but not only that, you don't want to find yourself in a situation. We get it. Sometimes you got to get out. You got to go to work. If you have to make a quick errand, but otherwise, if we can just all sit back together and watch this pass, hopefully. But
I feel really bad for the small cars there. The cars we are in the vehicle. We are big SUV, heavier, higher up, more clearance room on the bottom. There's a smaller car to the right there. Those are the ones I worry about the most and all that. So I guess the lesson here is there's really no reason to go out tonight, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah. Okay. Let's give you a live pic of West Bend right now. We've been monitoring in certain areas, and there you can see the rain coming down. Does it look quite as intense? Still bad, but in terms of the intensity numbers, you know, from what we have seen in other places, it looks to be a little bit more calm. Streets look to be a little bit more clear. Hard to say. The good news is it doesn't look like a lot of people are out there in West Bend. So,
but the problem remains from last night, Mary. We got soaked last night.
Yes, we did.
So this has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
It is, you know, water takes the path of least resistance, right? And sometimes that's not going to be the ground itself. It is going to be any open area confined. And sometimes that open area, unfortunately, is our basements or businesses, the first floors of businesses without a basement. So we are still getting flooding reports in. I fear that it's going to be worse than we know right now. But we haven't got a whole lot there. I think people right now just trying to bat down a little bit, stay safe. We have tornado warnings. In fact, we have a confirmed tornado down in Sussex that the National Weather Service was confirming that ripped the roof or the siding off a barn. We're not sure which one just yet, but significant winds and significant damage there from where that touched down in Sussex earlier tonight.
And the tornado debris, as you had mentioned, I mean, trying to clear that up, and the siding damage. There was a nearby church in that area that apparently had quite a bit of significant damage in terms of the siding, and who knows if that's even you're able to attend, you know, at this point. And again, that was in the Sussex area. So, and this is just one report. This came in at 7:34 tonight. So this is just the start of it.
And what's fascinating in that report, Tom said you could see on radar something flying away. Not sure you couldn't tell if it was the roof, couldn't tell if it was the siding, but it was pretty significant. Let's take a live picture right now. This is from one of our tower cams right now. Do we know which one specifically? DOT camera out on the highways right here.
Now, definitely emergency personnel off to the side of the road there, presumably helping disabled vehicles or vehicles that couldn't make it through there. It looks as though, from our vantage point, as it does yours, traffic is a slow go, pretty steady traffic right there. As you know, the cars trying to make their way around those very, very damp streets there. Hard to know what the law enforcement is doing there with their lights on, if they're helping somebody, if they're just trying to help traffic navigate through there. It's dark, as you can see there. and extremely difficult. Anybody's ever driven through rain, you know it can be almost more difficult than snow at times, depending on the intensity. So those are the look of the roadways right now. And also, as you can see, the wind just putting up quite a storm there, and because of that, so many power outages. We Energy's dealing with now day 2 of a number of power outages right now, with the total being just over 25,000. We know that they are working to restore power just as soon as possible, but with this kind of weather and in these conditions, that can be a very daunting task.
What's remarkable here is not how high Waukesha is, because it's been high for the last 18, 19 hours or so. What's remarkable is how low the numbers in Milwaukee County are, considering what has ripped through here and how many lights and power was able to stay on. Ozaki County, Mary, earlier today, there was one power outage in all of Ozaki County. At about 3 o'clock today. That's up to 525 right now.
I know last night during the start of the storms, my lights started to flicker in Milwaukee, and I thought, is this the start of something? But luckily we were able to hang on. So yeah, it is just, and again, if you can't, when we talk about power outages, this is a great time to have the FOX6 app right here, our Fox mobile app, and so you can get on Fox Local. Also have the Storm Center app. I love that thing.
Right, keep your phones charged,
gives
because
you hour by hour
your power may go out, but if your phone is charged because you thought ahead, because you were smart, you just click on and people are watching us right on Fox Local. We are, broadcasting both over the air, fox6now.com, and right now on Fox Local. So if you can't have one, you can certainly have the other. But do yourself a favor, juice up all your devices, your iPads, your phones, your backup phones.
Just in case.
It might be a long stretch. I mean, there are folks in Waukesha County who are going on 18, 19 hours now without power.
And I know these storms probably created because of the atmosphere and the warmth. At least we have that. It's not freezing out there. So if people are worried about, being cold in their homes, that's not as big of a concern right now.
But the concern with that is sump pumps.
Sump
pumps.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry, Jennifer, one more time,
Esterbrook Cam, think we have that? Yeah. Let's take a look at the Esterbrook Cam right now. That always shows great pictures of lightning, if we're able to see that, because it's so high. Oh, and there you go. It's a free light show. Boy, oh boy, that lightning intense earlier and still continuing as we see the skies light up there. Again, this is our Esterbrook Tower Cam.
Is this a live picture?
I believe it is.
It is, yes, it is. I'm told it is a live picture. So can we bring that full by any chance, just to get the full thing, just to show how dramatic it can be? Yeah, we're going to do that here. There we go.
Ooh,
that's...
yeah, that's difficult to, and we talked a little bit, almost kind of jokingly, how I don't think you mind me sharing this, how you went home to comfort your dog.
I went home to make sure, okay, she hates storms, and she needed her meds.
Yeah, well, this is the time to put that thunder vest on them, or if they get the meds. I mean, animals do not behave well to these types of conditions. So just a reminder.
But this shot is so interesting. That dark swath in the middle, that's the Milwaukee River. We were so used to seeing this shot, and the lake is off to the distance here. We're so used to saying, look at the different colors of blue from the river to the lake to the sky. Ain't no blue there tonight, Mary. It is just shades of gray.
Yes, all the way around. Is it just me, or does the rain seem to have subsided even just a bit? I'm looking for a glimmer of hope. Hard to tell from our vantage point, but it would appear that way.
Yeah, we'll be checking in with Tom and Stephanie here and the whole gang. It's hard for me to say because we've been in a windowless studio for a while. I can tell you it was coming down heavy at around 6:45, about 7 o'clock. Now this is just nobody talk for a second.
Ooh.
This is hail hitting our roof at around 7 o'clock. And that's where we are.
And that's where we were, yeah. I shudder to think what our cars could look like when we get out tonight. We all had to go to the basement. If you're just joining us, glad you're with us. We're here to keep you safe. We all went to the basement. Yeah, we can keep playing the video. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, thank you, Jennifer, our producer. We're going to keep playing the video. Here collectively, we were on set, and we all went to the basement to hunker down, shelter in place. We had a makeshift studio there where Tom and Stephanie were able to tell us what was going on. Again, never had that in the time that I've been here. It was pretty scary. You could hear it. You could hear the sounds.
It's scary driving in it when you're getting hit by hail. I can attest to that. That's a first for me.
I mean, that was, you were soaked.
Yeah, I went back to my, high school defensive back speed from the parking lot to here. We haven't run that fast in more than 40 years. Tom, let's bring in you because Mary is asking the question: has the rain subsided? And you would know better than us.
Sorry, I was just swallowing a piece of food there.
I'll handle this one. Okay. I'll handle this one.
Sorry. One of you decide who's going to do it. Stephanie, we nominate you.
Thank you. I'm honored. No, unfortunately, I have no good news for you when it comes to this heavy rain. It is coming down in sheets here at the station. We're over 2 inches now, and we're seeing a lot of reports across the North Shore, Ozaukee County, northern Waukesha County, where some of that severe weather was located, of over 2 inches worth of rainfall. And we are in no way done. This is just lingering across Washington and Ozaukee counties. It looks like maybe northern Waukesha County, you might be seeing a little bit of a let up, but it is still going here in Milwaukee. And remember, we still have this band out towards the west.
Guess what?
What?
Flash flood warning. Milwaukee, Waukesha counties. Northern Milwaukee, northeastern Waukesha County until 11 o'clock.
So it was extended.
Yes, until 11, exactly. Yep, so let's pull that up. And
so it's the same area.
Same area,
but
extended. And I think this has to do with what Lisa was just showing, right?
The fact that we're actually starting to see ponding and flooding on
actual
roadways.
Flash flood reports.
Absolutely.
Okay. And Lisa,
fantastic.
Yes, and Lisa's heading towards the Mequon area right now. Here's the deal, Steph. As you mentioned, over 2 inches of rain. In fact, we keep looking at our rain gauge, 2.21. And it's 0.21, in the last 5 minutes?
Yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
A very heavy rain.
And we were talking off camera, Steph, as we pull the radar back up, and you made a really good point because we both kind of scratched our heads and went, oh, this isn't good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually have another warning about to come out for Walworth County, and this is a severe thunderstorm warning. So talking about flooding right now, but we're getting new information that we could maybe see more hail, more strong wind as the southernmost part of this line works its way into Walworth County. I'm not sure it's actually gone through yet. Oh, it has. Okay, so zooming in just real quick on Walworth County. I mean, you guys largely have not seen a ton so far this evening. There's the beeping. So you guys are added to a severe thunderstorm warning, and that is for hail of about 1 inch in diameter, as well as 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That goes until 9 p.m.
Which means
we've got an hour on that.
Yep, and so this will be in Milwaukee likely by 8:45, 9 o'clock. But let's go back to the radar, because if we go back to the middle of the night last night, which seems like so long ago now, last night or early this morning, we had that west to east oriented band that was in Fond du Lac and Sheboygan counties with torrential rain, right? And then we had the north-south line, very similar to what this is, come through the rest of the area. The issue now is that west to east oriented band is over Dodge, Jefferson, Washington, Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Milwaukee, especially northern and central Milwaukee counties. Here's the problem, is it's snaking around here and it's not ending. And if anything, it's getting heavier. We have had reports of flash flooding, at the very least ponding on the roadways, but I think we're going to be getting into flash flood status here very quickly. The problem is all of this water is going to traverse the exact same areas that are experiencing the flooding right now. So again, these are kind of the county line areas, I-94 and points to the north. I mean, look at all of this rain, Dodge, Washington, Ozaukee counties, and you've got a lot more to go. And then we snake back down. This is going to be the severe line, and that's going to be Walworth County, which is the warning that was just issued until 9 o'clock. It's a low-end warning. What we mean by that is hail to 1 inch in diameter. I think we're done with the tennis ball-sized hail, okay? Is there a tornado threat? It's low. I'm not concerned about that. I don't think we're overly concerned about that at this point. But again, until it gets out of here, it's never zero. We did have a confirmed tornado in Sussex around 6:30 tonight, but now this largely is turning into a flash flooding event, especially here for the I-94 corridor and just north of the 94 corridor, Menominee Falls, Germantown, Mequon, Cedarburg, Brown Deer here at our Brown Deer studios, northern Waukesha County, so Pewaukee, into the Sussex area, Lake Country here, and then stretching back into northern portions of Jefferson County, the Johnson Creek area as well, Lake Mills. Boy, Dodge County, you have had a lot, and you're going to get a lot more. And then farther down to the south where you haven't had a ton of rain, you're going to be getting quite a bit of rain, but I don't think you're going to be as flash flood prone as areas to the north because you're not in this band. You see what I mean? I don't want to get in, you know I'm a glass half full kind of person, right, Steph? But unfortunately, we're not even talking about tomorrow. And I have not looked at the new data that is coming in yet, but we could be dealing with heavy rain tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. So whatever is falling tonight, this should start to come to an end by roughly 1 o'clock in the morning. Then we dry out a little bit, and then we could see this happen again tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, Steph. And, you know, that's really a concern. So I think the bottom line is this is transitioning from the monster hail, supercell, tornadic type of activity to a flash flooding activity, especially here, Milwaukee, Waukesha, Jefferson counties, and points to the north.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. As this heavy rain, again, is just relentless, and we start to see the second line working its way through. Now, looking elsewhere across the region, Fond du Lac, you're quieting things down. That's great news if you are across that county. There's some activity north of you, and there is, of course, still plenty of activity in southwestern Wisconsin. So the rest of us, you know, we are not quite done. But even far northern Dodge County, you're going to start to see a break here shortly. I want to zoom down just a little bit towards the south where that line is getting a little bit closer to parts of Walworth County. It's passing through Jefferson County as we speak, as well as eastern Rock County. Now, there is still the possibility for some stronger batches of wind, if you will, or stronger pockets of wind as we see this line work its way through. So don't be surprised if, you know, the Fort Atkinson area, eventually northwestern portions of Walworth County as this line moves in, if you do still hear and experience some pretty strong wind. Again, 260 miles per hour is still going to be a possibility as this line moves in. So again, just a reminder that there is a severe thunderstorm warning for Walworth County. In fact, let's just put the map up here. Walworth County, the entire county, until 9 p.m. We also still have a severe thunderstorm warning for southern Dodge, as well as all of Jefferson County, because the line is impacting you as we speak. And it does still have the possibility of bringing in some stronger pockets of wind, especially near that Fort Atkinson area. All right, I hear we are going to chat with our very own Ashley Sears. Ashley, remind us where you're at right now and what you're seeing. It looks maybe a little calmer near you, which is a welcome scene.
Yeah, hi, Steph. We're in West Bend here in Washington County. We're off Interstate 45, and I believe this is Washington Street here. We're standing underneath an overhang at a grocery store here in the parking lot, and the rain has really let up here. It's a light rain right now, but we're seeing a lot of lightning in the distance. We could hear lots of thunder here. There was much heavier rainfall not that long ago over here, and earlier tonight we were actually sitting in our vehicles and we heard the sirens going off. We went inside the Sendix here, and together with the rest of the store, we all kind of sheltered in place in the back of the store, in the dairy section near the bathrooms, away from windows here. But things have been pretty quiet in terms of, we haven't seen hail over here, just a lot of rainfall. And within, I would say, the last 15 minutes or so, it's kind of let up here, and it's a light rainfall, but we can hear that thunder in the distance.
All right, thanks so much, Ashley. We are still just dealing with so much going on here locally, but I'm glad it's in West Bend, maybe getting a little bit better, and glad you're undercover too. I'm actually looking at velocity scans right now, so I apologize. I was catching up on that as we are still watching this line as it rolls through parts of Jefferson as well as eastern Rock County. No defined rotation necessarily at this point in time, but it's still worth watching, and we at the very least could still see as this line rolls through some strong pockets of wind where you're seeing, some of those bright reds, and even out west a little bit more, just east of Monroe, likely some strong wind in there. So still worth watching. I just, again, want to go back to this flash flood warning, which continues and will continue for quite some time as the rain is still falling at a very heavy rate across much of southeast Wisconsin. Just checking in with our National Weather Service chat here. Really watching Janesville right now and that area for the southernmost edge of that line. I'll switch over to radar so you guys can get a better idea of it. It's passing through Jefferson County as we speak. Fort Atkinson area, it is likely very loud and very windy near you. Remember, you guys are under this severe thunderstorm warning, so 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are still going to be a possibility. This is not quite to Walworth County. I know you guys were, as a precaution early on, put into this warning. It is across Rock County right now, but it will be moving in here shortly. So just know strong wind is still going to be a possibility as this moves in. All right, I hear my colleague meteorologist Lisa Michaels is available. Lisa, how you doing? What are you seeing and where are you at?
Yeah, so we are right now stopped on the road. We're going to have to move in a minute, but we are on 181 and close to the entrance on-ramp of 41 or Brown Deer Road. This car coming towards us is actually turning around on the incorrect way, going the wrong way on the road because the roads are so flooded. You can see the waves just on the road there, and that's what we are continuing to track. I mean, it is just pooling. I want to guesstimate there's got to be at least 4 to 6 inches on the road right now. Even if I can turn our camera a little bit, I mean, maybe I can zoom up. I think we're going to have to move in a minute because we got cars behind us. But we are tracking, again, a lot of water. We've driven through some on and off sections on this road heading south to get closer to the station that have had a lot of construction areas where the rain is just flooding the roads. There's actually part of a car there, looks like that is stuck in the road, and then the road's fine. So you really need to be careful, especially if you're going to be heading on the roads tonight. I would say, to be quite honest, it's probably advised to stay off the roads. We have run into a lot of low-level flooding on roadways as we are heading towards Wauwatosa Road going south. Again, we are almost on Brown Deer Road and close again to the Menards where we had some reports of flooded cars. I'm just taking a look out the window. Yes, there are cars with their hazards on, stuck on the side of the road. We are also watching a lot of cars on Brown Deer Road going through pools and pools of water. So we're going to try to make our way down there. We have seen some police on the exit from 43 heading on Mequon Road, where it looks like the police have blocked the on-ramp because, and potentially again that off-ramp too, from the extensive amount of flooding there. So we're going to continue again to drive around to see what we can find, but keep in mind it is going to be really hard to see some of the flooding on the roadways. You can even see our camera on the side there just starting to spit up all this water on the side, and this isn't even some of the worst parts we've seen. It is just so hard to determine, Stephanie, how deep this water is, and a lot of the drains, they just cannot keep up with all of the water that they're trying to bring in. So we're continuing to track this. Yes, we have not put ourselves personally in any kind of main danger, but we have seen areas where cars have turned around. We in fact even turned around earlier, so we're going to continue to track this. But this is a big concern. You've been talking about with Tom the flash flood warnings going out, and that's going to be, I think, something that will stay with us even as we head overnight and into tomorrow for some spots. And you know just as well as I do, it is construction season in Milwaukee one of our very favorite seasons here in the state, I'll add. And the construction certainly is not going to add a fun factor to this. It actually can make some of the travel a little more hazardous. So just be safe if you're heading on the roads today. Again, we are going to continue to track this, and we'll give you reports if needed as we are continuing to head further south.
Lisa, thank you so much. Please continue to stay safe. It's really nice to see visuals, though, and unfortunately, this really is bringing back memories from August. Tom and I covered that event, and I remember there was a period of time in the morning where we each kind of had to coordinate with each other on roadways to get to the station because there was so much flooding. I urge you just to stay in. Don't even try to travel. Okay, now earlier, we did have a confirmed tornado near Sussex, but hearing of a decent amount of damage near Lisbon. Our Bria Jones is actually there with her photographer, photojournalist Colin. Bria, I'm going to send it out to you. Please tell us what you're seeing and maybe what you experienced too on your way there.
Well, Steph, unfortunately, we are seeing a ton of damage out here in Lisbon. The drive up here at some moments, again, low visibility, lots of rain and picking up in some points. We also saw a few minor car accidents. So just urging people that are out on the roads just to take it easy. But I want you to take a look at the damage. We're talking, we have down trees, branches, we have power lines that are down. I'm going to shine a flashlight. This is on Lisbon Presbyterian Church. You can see some of the siding of the storm damage here. This is a church. There are other people on the other side of the church here who came out just to see and survey the damage. But as you can see, Colin, if you pan over, I'm standing near a tree that fell just a few inches away from the church. We have, again, the siding from the church, the panels here intertwined with the tree branches here, just the siding, again, coming off in so many different spots. But I'm walking in the back of the church because I had a chance to just speak with one of the members here at Lisbon Presbyterian, and they told me that the chimney actually fell in the midst of the storm and that the chimney fell inside of the church. So they're saying that this back portion of the church here, which they say is an office, you can't see it from out here. That's why I'm shining the flashlight, but you can see the bricks here from the chimney. They say that the chimney, as you can see from my flashlight, is no longer in place. You can kind of see where the roof actually, well, you can see where the roof has split, and it has certainly lifted and picked up from its base. So they're saying, and you can kind of see it, Colin, if you kind of pan in or zoom in rather on the windows here, you can see that the roof of this church has collapsed. You can see some of the, you can see the interior here literally from the outside of the window. So this is Lisbon Presbyterian Church. Just at this point, the members here, they are just really trying to figure out exactly what's happening, what exactly transpired. There's so much damage all around the property. If we can even pan over here and just take a look at some of the trees that are down. These are the members that are here. They just came out to survey the damage. And on the other side of this, we have down power lines. So a lot of damage out here in Lisbon. This is what people have been kind of pointing out on social media. We're just right now walking around the property, just giving you guys a live look at what we just arrived at just minutes ago.
Bria, is there any...
Again, this is Lisbon.
I'm sorry, is there any police presence yet or any emergency vehicles, or is it really just beginning stages of damage here?
Again, so at this point, we came across first responders when we were over on Maple in Sussex. So at this point, I actually had a sheriff's deputy, a Waukesha County Sheriff's deputy, approach me, asking me if there was damage at the church, and I alerted him that I had actually just arrived. But we are starting to see so many first responders spread across this area. They're not at the church at this moment, but we are seeing those flashing lights, and we're hearing the sirens all around.
Oh, Bria Jones, thank you so much in Lisbon. And again, just a reminder that you never know what type of damage you're going to encounter after storms like these. So it's best just to shelter in place, wait until things quiet down, maybe wait until morning. Wow, that is some very clear damage as you can see here. And so the National Weather Service did confirm that there was a tornado on the ground in Sussex, obviously Lisbon, very close to that area. And that was the cell that, made us here in Brown Deer at the station shelter in place as it moved eastward. But when that cell, that really defined couplet, moved through Sussex, we also had that debris ball that basically just indicates that there is debris being lofted by a likely tornado. And then, of course, the National Weather Service just a short time ago coming out and confirming that there was a tornado in Sussex, and obviously seeing some very clear damage. I know it's hard because it's dark. It's still actively raining. We still have another line of storms that's going to move through, though it's not as strong as what obviously moved through earlier, but it's going to be hard to really get a good grasp on how much damage there is out there. I just urge you to be cautious, especially with the fact that it is dark outside and you're really not sure how much of that damage that we are going to see. So, Bria, thank you again. Hopefully we can check in again in a little bit and a little bit later on. We are still watching these storms going strong. I will report that it is much quieter here in Brown Deer. The rain has been relentless, so I think we're getting just a little bit of a break from some of the heavy stuff now. But look at this. Parts of Waukesha County now going to see the second line of heavy rain work its way in here shortly. Really, if you're north, looks like Fond du Lac and northern Dodge County, you guys might be the quietest at this point. We are still watching severe thunderstorm warnings, and the strongest part of this line is down towards the south, moving through Janesville and parts of eastern Rock County. Walworth County, you're still included in that severe thunderstorm warning. Here's a look at the warnings map. So all of the orange here indicating severe thunderstorm warnings that were really put into place out ahead of this line. So Walworth County, your warning is going to continue.
New tornado warning. This is for Jefferson and Waukesha counties.
Wow, okay.
Here we go.
Thank you, Tom.
Yep. So my apologies, Stephanie, for interrupting.
No, thank you for doing so. Let's get rotation up here.
Yep. All right. So here we go again. So this is now a new tornado warning. You see how fast these things can develop? This is turning into what we had last night, the rotations along the line. This is a tornado warning for southern Waukesha County and southeastern Jefferson County until 9 o'clock.
You're going to die, but don't.
This is for a radar-indicated tornado that is over Palmyra, or 9 miles northwest of East Troy, moving east at 50 miles per hour. Let's go back real quick, if we could, Steph, to the warning. I just want to read some towns here that are in it. So, Waukesha, Mugwanago, Vernon, you are in this, North Prairie, New Berlin, Muskego, Big Bend, Waterford North, Brookfield, Elm Grove, and Wind Lake. You are all in this tornado warning until 9 o'clock tonight. So here we go again. You need to be in your tornado safe spot. Now, Steph, let's dive in to the radar and show you what's going on here, because this is the rotation. And you're going to see this area right here, again, just coming out of the Palmyra area, heading towards Eagle. And now this is the radar. Boy, we talked about this exact scenario last night, where when we start to see the storm move towards the radar site, it looks a little weird for a time because it's getting very close to exactly where the radar is, which is in Sullivan in Jefferson County. However, when you get just a little bit away from it here, and you can see right on the county line, so we're right on the Jefferson and Waukesha County line here, and when you get just a little bit away from it, the radar beam is pretty close to the ground. So this is actually, I think, a good sampling of what's going on, because you're near the bottom of the storm, right? You don't have tornadoes at the top of the storm or in the middle of the storm. You have it at the bottom of the storm. And this area of rotation is now the reason for this tornado warning. So let's go ahead, Steph, if we couldn't go back to the reflectivity, because as we look at that, so here's Palmyra. So it's coming out of Palmyra and crossing, and again, the radar's going to look a little funky here because it's crossing the radar site. So you see how it comes in and then it kind of looks a little mushy. That's not because of the storm adjusting, it's because it's crossing over the radar site. It will kind of come back crisper as it continues to move east towards Eagle, but it's going to be this area right there. And again, that matches with the rotation. So this is somewhat similar to what we had in the middle of the night, where we ended up having little areas of rotation along the line, Steph, and this is going to be a concern, again, for all of the cities just listed, really southern and central Waukesha County at this point, as this continues to move east. So again, I would be most concerned about our southern communities of Waukesha County, Mukwonago, Muskego, maybe even to Big Bend with time, as well as this notch in the radar continues to move east.
Absolutely. And so obviously still watching two parts of Walworth County. Main focus is southern Waukesha County, but that rotation is nearing Eagle. It looks like it's maybe just south of Eagle right now and continuing to work its way eastward. In fact, we can probably put velocity back up. I mean, you see that little notch there. Very clear within a line, those quick little mesovorts that we sometimes see within these lines of storms, as you were just talking about, Tom, that we experienced last night too. And even as we dive down south into Walworth County, I mean, we got to watch that line very closely too, because it looks like there could be another at least pocket of very strong wind, but almost, north of Sugar Creek, maybe another little notch trying to come together.
Well, and here's what's interesting too, Stephanie. We talked a little bit ago about the supercell storms, right, that rolled across parts of the area earlier with the monster hail, and also the tornado that we just talked to Bria about hitting Lisbon and the Sussex area. Those didn't hit everywhere, right? Those didn't hit these areas. And so we had it more northern Waukesha County, not southern, right? And so southern Waukesha County, northern Walworth County, your atmosphere, scientifically speaking, is not worked over like it is up to the north. So even in Waukesha County itself, northern Waukesha County much more stable than southern Waukesha County. So that's likely why you're seeing this in the southern part of the county, because you still have a lot of instability in your atmosphere. So a few miles can make all the difference in this case, depending on if you had storms earlier or if you didn't. So one part of the county is experiencing a whole lot of flooding, and the other part of the county is still experiencing a tornadic potential here. And as Steph pointed out, we may be dealing with another kink in the line here into parts of Walworth County that we also need to keep an eye on. But this is very familiar and very similar to what we had in the middle of the night last night. So we went from the supercellular storms earlier with the monster hail to the linear type storms that we are now seeing tonight. And again, let's go back. Well, a couple things. Number one, the latest scan, Stephanie, is concerning.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Because you're now starting to see the yellows here, which is indicative of, again, stronger rotation. Now, could we go back to the reflectivity real quick?
Yes.
I just want to do a quick kind of analysis as we're looking at this together. Because, again, we also saw this last night where we have the notch, but then if we start to see this area kind of bow out a little bit here, kind of push on out, that could be indicative of strong winds, downburst winds coming in. And I'm kind of starting to see that maybe a little bit on the radar as well,
This
Steph.
is going to be a new warning, just so you
A
know,
new one
Tom,
coming in?
extended
Okay.
into Walworth County.
Is this the tornado warning?
This is going to
Okay.
be another tornado warning because of those little kinks
Of that second notch.
that we were
Okay.
just seeing. In fact, there's actually multiple little notches within this line. So you can see the little kinks for yourselves. So Walworth now included in that tornado warning. And let me put the box up for you so you can get a better idea. So you can see the tornado warning for Waukesha County, southern Waukesha County, that is, central as well as eastern portions of Walworth County and just that sliver of Jefferson County.
Boy, that's a big box.
That is a big box.
Big one,
I mean, there are multiple little spin-ups, I think, within this line.
And I think it's a smart move, right? Because you just don't know exactly where these are going to pop and end up. This Walworth County tornado warning now in effect until 9:15 tonight. Again, we have been on with you since 4 o'clock this afternoon, and we're going to continue to be on with you here tonight. Sirens are going off again. Cell phones are going off again, and we know the anxiety with this. And I, again, really want to mention a couple of things here. Number one is, if you are in the red shaded areas, if you've just gotten the alert on your phone that you are under a tornado warning, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. I know that kind of goes without saying, right? But you need to be in a basement. or the lowest level of your home, getting as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. If you don't have a basement, go to an interior closet, interior bathroom, take some pillows and blankets with you, and stay there until the warning has expired. So now we have the Walworth County warning. That is running until 9:15. The Waukesha Southeast Jefferson warning, that's going to run until 9 o'clock tonight. So actually, Southeast Jefferson, you're cleared. That just cleared. So this is now southern and parts of central Waukesha County. Yes, Waukesha, you are in this as well. Brookfield, New Berlin, you are in this as well. Big Bend, Muskego, Mukwonago, you're all in this. Walworth County, East Troy, stretching all the way down to Lake Geneva, you are all in this as well. And right down into Potter Lake, Williams Bay, Elkhorn as well, and Walworth, you are also in this. So this is in effect until 9:15. So make that mental note of when your warning expires. Stay in your shelter until it does. Now, if you don't have a TV in your shelter, you can find us on the Fox Local streaming app. And that's really important because you can see that right on your mobile device, what you're seeing on TV as well. So I just want to kind of get those safety tips in there. But now this is a really important distinction. Steph, let's go back to the radar because I know a lot of folks are just tuning into us tonight on what has been a very loud day, loud night. Not many of us got much sleep last night because of all the storms moving through. So, what I really want to draw your attention to is the look of this line here, because this is very different. Again, for folks just joining us, several tornado warnings are now in effect, but this is very different from what we had just about 2 hours ago. Earlier this evening, we had supercell thunderstorms with hail as big as tennis balls, potentially. Tornadoes as well. We at least had one confirmed tornado in the Sussex area, okay? That was from these big supercell thunderstorms. This is different. This is a line of thunderstorms, again, very similar to what we had in the middle of the night, and you get these little rotations along the line, these little notches like you're seeing right here. So that's why all along the line here from southern Waukesha into Walworth counties have been added now to a tornado warning to account for these notches. But what's the difference? Isn't a tornado just a tornado? Well, yes and no. Supercellular tornadoes have the potential to be very, very strong, much stronger typically than these linear tornadoes. And not to discount the tornado warnings that are in effect right now, but to kind of put your mind at ease a little bit, these are not the strong supercellular type tornadoes. These are your tornadoes embedded within a line. Yes, they can still do damage. They can touch down very quickly. However, it is not the type of storm that we had earlier. So I just want to bring the difference up there, Steph, that we're not seeing, those supercell storms again. But I know we do have an update here from the National Weather Service, it looks like, just coming in as well.
Yeah, we do. It does seem that they are watching the East Troy area and points towards the south, and 100% agree with you with the difference between, these little spin-ups within these lines and supercellular activity that, we may have seen earlier today. But that being said, still really watching, according to the National Weather Service, maybe the East Troy area. So I do want to put in, or south of East Troy, I should say, I do want to go back to our velocity. And remember, we look at this to see where there could be some spin or some rotation within these thunderstorms. And really what we're looking at is pretty defined in one of those kinks here. So just towards the southeast of East Troy, this is about to cross Interstate 43 as it continues to move eastward. My guess is that we're at that point in time where there probably are not too many people out on the roadways, but if you do know someone traveling that stretch of roadway, please make sure that they are aware that there is the potential for a brief spin-up tornado. And at the very least, we're going to continue to see strong wind out of this. Wow, that's more of like a Boeing line, as you can see, with that latest scan heading on into Spring Prairie. Also, as I pan down towards the south, we are definitely seeing strong wind out of this entire line that extends all the way through Walworth County. Let me check in on the National Weather Service here. It looks like they issued a down, or I should say eastward, a severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this line, with the tag, though, that a tornado will be possible.
And it looks like, Steph, like you said, we have the kinks along the line, and that's going to be concerning, right, for possible tornadoes. But it's interesting because you have the kink along the line, but then you see this right here, right? That's almost looks like a little Boeing type segment. And it's interesting, and I think it speaks to why the National Weather Service just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for Racine and Kenosha counties, not a tornado warning, until 9:30 tonight. So that's going to go for an hour, and that is for 3/4 inch diameter hail and also winds up to 60 miles per hour. So penny-sized hail, winds of 60 miles per hour. And you might be thinking, but wait a minute, there's a tornado warning here, and then it goes to a severe thunderstorm warning here. What's changing? Well, we have the kink right here. You may have a couple more developing along the line. So yes, tornadoes are possible, but it is very possible that as the line moves out of Walworth County and moves into western Racine and western Kenosha counties, it becomes what we call outflow dominant, meaning that we start to get strong winds pushing through here, and that leads to this area pushing out or bowing out. So instead of rotation and tornadoes, we're dealing with strong straight line winds coming out of the storm. Now, rotating winds versus straight line winds, is there really a huge difference from a damage standpoint? Not really. So it's really kind of one and the same, but you're going from tornado warnings to severe thunderstorm warnings, assuming that we continue to see more of these bulges and not as many kinks coming on through, Steph.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you don't mind, I'd like to put a track on this, especially since it is more of a distinct line as it continues to make its way eastward. And I'll, of course, add in the batch for Waukesha County as well. And we'll check in with Lisa in just a second about more flooding. I just want to put a track on this for you guys so you get a better idea out ahead of this line. Parts of southern Waukesha County, even southern Milwaukee County and eastward. The timing of this. And I'm going to push it out to about an hour. So this gives you an idea if it maintains its current speed, which is about 45 miles per hour. But you can see Mukwonago, this is kind of knocking on your doorstep. Lake Geneva, this could be in closer to about 8:45. And then we get into maybe southern Milwaukee County, Franklin, Oak Creek, just after 9 o'clock, maybe 9:10. And then Kenosha, it's still going to take some time, probably about an hour as this works its way eastward. Looks like we are still looking at plenty of little notches within this line. So as it continues to move east, just be prepared. Southern Waukesha County, all of Walworth County, and now Racine and Kenosha County, even though you're not in the warning, for at the very least some strong wind as this moves through. Still a ton of lightning within this line as well. Expect the heavy rainfall. And now I do want to reiterate what Tom mentioned earlier because it's such a good point. You know, we remember that these southern communities did not really see much before this. So they still have the energy, and that does include southern Waukesha, southern Milwaukee County. We've been worked over a little bit, our atmosphere, I think, towards the north because of all of the activity, all the heavy rain that we have had since then. That doesn't mean we can't see any more additional, smaller hail or strong wind, but we just have to remember that there is still the possibility for tornadoes and strong wind in some of these southern spots that are likely still warm and haven't really seen their atmosphere worked over yet because of the lack of activity so far. This line extends down into northern Illinois, so that's going to continue to move eastward and impact areas around the border. So much lightning and heavy rainfall associated with this area of thunderstorm activity. It even looks like maybe south of La Crosse there are still a few thunderstorms trying to develop. They're not severe, but they do look like they're at the very least bringing in more in the way of heavy rainfall, even far northeastern parts of Iowa. All right, it sounds like we have some good video from our colleague Lisa Michaels when it comes to potential flooding.
Hang on a minute.
Actually, hold on, Lisa. Give me just one more second.
See what's coming out here. Right as we're about to. Okay, tornado warning, Racine County.
Okay.
So this is now a new all of Racine County.
So pushed eastward.
Yep. So this is the entirety of Racine County. Tornado warning until 9:30. And Steph, you guessed it, it's those notches that you talked about.
Okay, absolutely. Now, it will be interesting to see if southern Milwaukee County gets added to this, but I think the main notches right now are in Walworth County, and those are going to be the most concerning at this point in time. And then as it makes its way eastward, it's likely for some of that activity near East Troy, too, which is probably east of that area. But it's still pretty defined, even as we look at reflectivity, some of these little notches or kinks within this line. So as it moves eastward, we've got some really good lead time. Racine County, get to your safe spot because the line isn't to you just yet, but it's moving in relatively quickly. So shelter in place until this line is out over the lake, essentially, within the next hour, maybe hour and a half, because all of Racine County, again, included in that warning. And here are just a few or a handful of communities included in this. We've got Burlington closing in on about 8:50, so that's not too long from now. Norway, 8:53. Caledonia, closer to about 9:10, maybe 9:15. And then Racine, maybe 9:25 to 9:30. We'll also need to watch Kenosha County. Right now, you are just under a severe thunderstorm warning. Not just. You still have the chance for some very strong wind, but the tornado warning technically not including that county just yet. Likely some of the stronger notches, maybe northern Walworth County. But again, we still have 3 counties included in active tornado warnings from southern Waukesha County down into parts of Walworth County and all of Racine County. Otherwise, again, Kenosha County, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning. So again, zooming in on especially southern Waukesha as well as Walworth County as this is approaching the border here. Ooh, look at that little kink. Yeah, you can clearly see that. So that's going to be a bit of an issue, and that is the one that's now just southeast of East Troy. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
They're now saying, let me see here, give me just a moment.
Nope, you're good.
Radar confirmed tornado. That is south of, that's what we're looking at right here. South of East Troy, heading toward Waterford and Rochester. So what they mean now, this has gone from a radar indicated tornado to a radar confirmed tornado. I know it kind of like, what's the difference? The difference is that we are seeing more in the way of signals on the radar that this is producing a tornado right now. So let's go and see. Let's see if we see any sort of a drop in
maybe out ahead.
Debris. Let's see. Let me go just a couple of minutes. Let's go 15 minutes.
Okay.
I don't
loop it a little bit. Again, this is for the little area that's south of East Troy. It's not very
not
distinct.
Seeing much there.
It could maybe be this area out ahead, but that's maybe a little too far east.
Yeah. I mean, so if you look here at the rotation, you'll see the, just within the last 15 minutes, let me go 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We've talked kind of how it's gotten a little bit more defined, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As we look at new data. So there you go, eastern Walworth County. Make sure you are in your safe spot. It is really interesting because I do wonder if this is picking up a little bit. Oh, no, with the new scan. I'm looking at the debris tracker again off screen, and it's very messy. So I don't think that's maybe our best way of looking at it, but regardless,
we're just hearing from the Weather Service as well. We've been talking about how the atmosphere is still primed.
Look at that. So now,
that's
we switch
outflow
focus
dominant.
Again. Absolutely,
that's outflow dominant right there. So this is interesting. So a couple of things. We just heard from the National Weather Service that the atmosphere is still primed for tornadoes all the way to the lake. So all the way through Racine County, because you didn't have those supercell thunderstorms like they did in Waukesha, northern Jefferson, northern Milwaukee counties, right, and points to the north. But a couple of things. Number one is let's show you here the, so these are the strong winds coming out of the front side of the storm here, which is concerning, those yellow areas. But also, if we switch back over to here just a little bit, you can see the concern. Interesting. We have been concerned about that little notch, Steph. And south of East Troy, that notch is gone in this latest scan, but it's up here. See what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it reformed northwest of Rochester. So what this is telling us right now, just from that one radar scan, is that these are strong outflow winds, meaning those downburst winds, the winds come out of the thunderstorm, they hit the ground. Well, what happens when they hit the ground? They can't go into the ground, right? So it goes out. So that's why they are downburst winds coming out of the front side of the storm. Up to the top here in this little kink, see how it wraps around. So that's why you get a little bit of rotation right there. So I think that this, now maybe we have another one right there. Isn't this crazy that it just updated right here?
It just goes to show how strong this line still is, and really just how turbulent this atmosphere is in these southern communities.
Right, and how the
and there's multiple now again.
Right, look at this. I mean, and do you want to stop it here real quick? Because it's updating in front of our eyes, and you can see how these little kinks keep forming. And so as they keep forming, you can get these little areas, these little spin-up tornadoes. Are these going to be the supercell type that with the big tennis ball hail that we had earlier? No. These are going to be little, smaller tornadoes. So let us put your mind at ease in that regard, because again, a lot of folks are tuning in. Sirens are going off. Cell phones are going off. Yes, you need to be in your tornado safe location. No, these are not monster type tornadoes that we were concerned about earlier with those supercells. Quite frankly, this is a different beast, if you will, entirely. And that is, again, because we could see some smaller tornadoes heading towards Rochester, heading towards Norway, and then continuing to make its way to the east straight across Racine County, right over the interstate, and then heading into Racine shortly as well. And that, again, is for all of Racine County under a tornado warning right now. So that is the concern that we have. But again, important to differentiate here, supercell versus non-supercell is a big deal, and hopefully will bring your anxiety level down a little bit, because I know there's been so much talk about those supercell storms. Those are no longer in existence. So take your tornado safe precautions. But again, we're going to be here with you through this as we go over the course of the next hour or so. Then we'll be out over the lake. In fact, probably before that. And then, of course, we'll be focusing on the flooding issues, Steph, which are apparently getting worse in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can check in with Lisa in just a second. But I do want to zoom in on Waterford. It does look like the National Weather Service is watching the north side of Waterford very closely. I know I'm texting with a friend right now as it continues to work its way through that area. So heads up, specifically some of these areas, to still shelter in place, stay in your basement or in your safe spot until this line moves through. The good news is that it is moving. It's moving quickly, but you need to stay in your safe spot because of the possibility of these little spin-ups.
Yeah, and that's a decent little kink there, Steph, where, and again, I mean, you can see the rotation, right, within the velocity scan there, and then you likely have outflow winds coming out there as well. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, Waterford, you need to be in your tornado safe spot right now. And again, let's take you back to last night, right? In the middle of the night, we had a very similar situation. And think about all the damage that we had, the power outages, the intense tree damage, everything that we had in terms of damage overnight last night. This is a very similar setup to that. And when we start to see those yellows popping up here, that is indicative of at radar height, and the radar is in Sullivan, at radar height, because the radar beam, because the Earth is curved, the radar beam goes up the farther away you get from it, of course. So as you're looking higher in the storm, the farther away you get. The yellow shaded areas are indicative of strong mid-storm winds here that could shoot down to the surface and cause straight line wind damage, which I think we had in a large part of our area early this morning. And this could also be what's heading through Racine County tonight. So yes, we may have some rotation here as well, but also I think we're just going to have just a lot of straight line winds coming through over the course of about the next 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, and latest from National Weather Service, again, just honing in on Waterford, downtown Waterford. The rotation is likely moving through right now. But again, as Tom mentioned, this entire line is going to, at the very least, bring in some strong wind. Now, we should probably switch over to reflectivity. It does look like southern Waukesha County is doing a little better. Obviously, it's still probably very loud. You're still getting some gusty wind, but we're not seeing some of the kinks or some of the stronger velocity scans in southern Waukesha County. So I guess that's a plus. You are still under that tornado warning, though, southern Waukesha County, so stay in place.
And maybe, Steph, we should zoom out a little bit. I don't want to take attention away from the tornado warnings because obviously it is the most serious issue on the map. But something else that is obviously very serious tonight is the flash flooding that is ongoing. And I don't know, do we have Lisa just for a quick hit for Lisa that we could go to try to get more information? Because she had some very awful video not far from our television station a little bit ago, just showing a lot of water on the roadway. So Lisa, we'll come to you here. Obviously, we have tornado warnings. Oh my goodness, we have tornado warnings in effect. But tell us where you are. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so I'm on the northwest side of Milwaukee County, 107th and Granville, and this is the worst we've seen it. There is a tow truck behind us that has been helping people get out. This car is one of the many we've seen stranded in the waters, and there's a line of cars, Eric's panning the camera here, that have been deciding, do they go through or do they turn around? And while there's been a number of daring cars that have gone through, some of them have had some problems after they decided to go through the floodwaters. We also had a car earlier that was looking to be put up in the air. You can see that video there, and it was hard to tell if the video is just having the car that may be stuck in a low-lying grassy area, or if maybe the surface underneath could have caved out. So again, another reason, a bus moving through, you just don't want to go through those waters. We are continuing to track the severe flooding here, and we are still continuing to see the tow truck that has even been pushing vehicles out of the water. This guy who's here, he is helping many. So again, we are advising you, please do not drive through the waters. There's been very unfortunate circumstances for some people who have driven through. So tossing it back to you guys to cover the tornado warnings. You are doing an amazing job, but we're also going to be tracking some of the substantial flooding, which is just really heartbreaking to see as we are continuing through this evening.
Lisa, I know
Lisa.
Steph asked about this earlier. Have you seen any law enforcement or any road closures as you've been driving around?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We have seen some law enforcement. I mean, not many, but we've seen some areas near the Menards, not close, or pretty close to the station off of Brown Deer Road. There were some fire trucks there. There has been some law enforcement we have seen on some of the entrance and exit ramps of interstates. But, you know, there's so many flooded areas right now. It is really hard for law enforcement to get around everywhere. So I'm going to be honest, a lot of the flooding we've seen, there's really not a lot of enforcement around, and it's few and far between. I would say if they are there, it's to maybe help people who are in need. And now we have, you know, another person trying to take risk at driving through the floodwaters right now. Eric and I are just sitting here like, no, don't do it, don't do it. It's really, really hard. Again, we say turn around, don't drown, but I wish we had more people out here to help. It's just so hard because the rain has been coming down so quickly that it is just piling up in so many places. And I think we're just getting reports now still of where are roads bad, where are they getting better. We can obviously see a tow truck right now as Eric's zooming out. He has been saving the day, going in and just pulling cars out, whether people are in them or not. There's still, again, several cars stuck in the water, and more people are still trying to go through. So we're just hoping that everyone stays safe.
Well, Lisa, thank you very much for that. Stay safe out there. We will check in with you again here shortly. Want to just quickly update you on what's happening with the warnings, and then we're going to go out to our Bria Jones, who is at the scene of a tornado touchdown in Sussex, the Lisbon area earlier, which we'll talk about. All right, extremely heavy rainfall now. Let's go to the warning, Steph, real quick, because the tornado warning for Walworth County has been canceled. Walworth County, you're all good. Well, sort of. You still have heavy rain, you still have gusty winds and some hail, but no tornado warning. So you're all good from the tornado perspective. Racine County, rare to see an entire county lit up here with a tornado warning, but you still have your tornado warning, and I believe that runs until 9:30, Steph, for all of Racine County.
Correct.
And that is for the little notches that we've been seeing, and a severe thunderstorm warning for Kenosha County, flash flood warnings north. Also of note here, the tornado watch is being trimmed back. That officially runs until 10 for everybody else, but I think by 10 o'clock, most of this is going to be out of here. Let's go back to the radar real quick just to show you here as to what's going on. And the flooding rains, as you just heard from Lisa, I mean, this is really bad. And it's going to keep raining, and there's more rain developing off to the west. We have had over 2 inches of rain here at our television station in Brown Deer, and we're getting more, obviously, right now. So please stay inside, check your basements. I'm going to talk to Stephanie about that here in just a moment. She has some news about that. And again, the tornado aspect, let's look at this for Racine County again, Steph, really quick to see there may still be a notch. Yep. Look at that.
Absolutely.
So it's, it's this area right here. Here's what I don't like is the fact that you have the yellows now, and now you have these greens. See how close they are together. Let's zoom in. They should be what, just east of Waterford now?
Correct.
Right? Okay. Yep. Just east of Rochester. Okay. Yep. And just to the southeast of Waterford. So this is the area. So Waterford, it is past you. Rochester, it is past you as well. Dover, Yorkville, Union Grove, you all need to be in your tornado safe spot right now. You could be dealing with a potential tornado here as, again, we have that rotation that's tightened up a little bit here. So all of Racine County, if you are east of Norway, you should be in your tornado safe spot as well for the next couple of minutes. But Rochester, Waterford, you are in better shape. Now, Burlington, you've got some strong winds, but you are in better shape as well. So it's really this area here, and I would say anywhere from just east of Rochester all the way to the lake, you need to be in your tornado safe spot because this could wobble a little bit, and you want to stay in your tornado safe spot until you know this is out past your location by 9:30, maybe before then. It will be, and we'll keep you posted. Basement, lowest level of your home, getting as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. So again, weaker tornadoes than likely what we saw earlier, like we saw in Lisbon in northern Waukesha County. For that, we want to go to our Bria Jones from a likely tornado that touched down at about 6:30 tonight with one of those supercells. Bria, what's going on? What's the latest there in Waukesha County?
More and more damage out here. I just want to get you right to some of what we're seeing. It's really unbelievable at this moment. Can't even imagine what this will all look like when the sun rises tomorrow. But I want to bring in someone, Manley Haynes. Your son owns this business right behind us. Yes. What is it like seeing all this damage?
It's pretty rough. My son has been in business for many years, and this is going to be hard on him and his business. And he's a landscaping company, and this is his busy time of year. So this is not optimal. It's not going to be fun. So I'm worried about what's actually inside, and we can't get inside the building quite yet.
And I know your wife is already surveying the damage behind the building. What was that phone call like? Because you said your son was in a panic knowing that we were experiencing all this severe weather while he was out of town.
Yeah, he's really nervous right now. He's down in Knoxville, and this is just really rough on him. And I'm sure he's just out of his mind, not knowing what's going on. And I think my wife is actually inside the building right now, trying to find out what's going on. So this is a shock to us all, and really sad for my son and his business. So while he's landscaping, it's just going to be tough on him.
Well, we know that we can always rebuild. We're thinking of you guys in this moment.
Thank goodness no one was here when this happened. Thank goodness nobody was here at the office and doing any work or anything, wrapping up the stuff. So thank goodness for that.
And we're starting to hear the thunder. You guys can hear it in the live shot. The lightning has not stopped. Let's talk about the drive over here, some of the conditions, because at some moments the visibility was so low. We saw so many minor accidents just on our way over here from New Berlin.
Yeah, I drove all the way out from the Village of Summit to here, which is 25-minute drive, and the roads were terrible. Hydroplaning cars everywhere. Very, very heavy rain in the Oconomowoc area, Delafield area, Pewaukee area. And then it eased up as I got closer here, so it kind of calmed down. But it was a rough ride over here, and there was cars that were having accidents along the way. But we wanted to get here to see what was actually going on.
And were you surprised by all of the damage?
I'm shocked at what I'm seeing here. Honestly, I'm a little speechless because I wasn't really expecting this to be hit like this, but it is what it is, and thank God nobody was hurt and nobody was here when it happened. All this can be repaired, but I feel bad for my son right now. He's probably really shook.
Well, we know mom and dad are here. They have his back. You guys are checking on the property. What else can you tell us about the property here? But the other businesses, I know there's a storage unit across the street. Some of those units have been ripped apart at this point.
Yeah, this is all I've seen here. I know that there's a lot of businesses that are here, landscaping companies up and down this road, a big construction company over here to the left of us. But this is the first I'm getting to see of any of this damage, so I'm just sort of taking it all in shocked. My wife is crawling around inside there trying to figure out how bad it really is, and I'm waiting to hear the report from her. So I stopped to talk with you for a minute. So. Well,
thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Bria Jones joining us live. That is just incredible, the damage we're seeing out there. We got to get back to the weather experts because this tornado warning, it continues. Guys, I am really concerned, too, about the flash flooding. I mean, law enforcement just can't keep up right now.
Right. And Bria, again, hearts are breaking here to see that damage. Yes, Ben, the flooding is bad. It is bad in Milwaukee County right now. It is bad across the area. And then you have that damage that Bria just showed. I mean, that's an extensive damage in Lisbon. So now we go back to the present with the current tornado warning. And let's take this full here if we can, because we are still seeing some notches on the radar into Racine County. So just to clarify here, tornado warning for Racine County, and it runs until 9:30. Here's why. This is not supercells like we had with that tornado in Lisbon. This is like last night, where we have a line of thunderstorms. You're looking at the velocity here. So what you're seeing are the strong winds blowing away from the radar in the red towards the radar in the green. And so where you're seeing the reds and the greens right next to each other right here, not far from Union Grove, that's where you're getting just a little bit of rotation. So there are these little kinks along the line where you could have a couple of little tornadoes forming. In addition, into Kenosha County and just east of Burlington now, we have the yellow areas here, which are the very strong winds aloft. Those could come down to the surface and become downburst type winds. And that's going to be a concern into Kenosha. So again, wind is wind, but some is rotating, some is coming straight out of the storm. Wind damage is a possibility. Regardless, in both Racine and Kenosha counties here, Walworth County, your tornado warning was canceled early.
We've got a new tornado warning for Kenosha County now.
Oh, boy, okay.
Which is not terribly surprising considering this is entering into Kenosha County now, and there are still some very clear kinks within that southern most part of the line that's moving through. So.
Yep, and it looks like it's for northeastern Kenosha County.
Let me put that map up for you. There you go.
So this does include the city of Kenosha. Reason being was that kink that we saw here in Union Grove, and so that is making its way to the east. But again, as Steph said, a few more kinks along the line. I don't think we're going to have any major tornadoes out of this, but enough to cause damage potentially. So that's why you need to be in your tornado safe spot. Much like Racine, the Kenosha tornado warning runs until 9:30. So we're just coming up on 9 o'clock. This will be a half an hour, probably at most. The fact that it's moving at 40 miles per hour to the east means it should be out over the lake relatively quickly. I would say 9:30 at the latest here. But again, Racine and a good chunk of Kenosha County, including most of Interstate 41 through these counties in effect here. Now, just got an update from the National Weather Service. Why don't we zoom in a little bit on this stuff? Absolutely. It's interesting because now they're focusing in on that one little area, right, from Union Grove. And so that's why Yorkville, you have just been removed from the tornado warning. Racine, you're still in it. Sturtevant, you're still in the warning as well. But north of there, you have just been removed from the tornado warning, which is good news. So let's go back to the radar if we could and see kind of what this all looks like. And there you can see, okay, Union Grove, here you are. There's that little kink. So now it's just pushing east of Union Grove, and it's going to be rolling right over the interstate here and then head right for Racine, pretty much. And this is going to get right through Sturtevant. So you need to be in your tornado safe locations, Union Grove and east. Union Grove, 10 more minutes and you're going to be good to go. I think it's largely past you at this point. However, it's the interstate and east through Sturtevant and Racine and Summers into Kenosha as well. So it's this whole area now until 9:30 that has that threat for a possible tornado.
Yeah, I think especially the village of Summers. This could more so move maybe just north of you guys, but absolutely in the path of one of these areas of rotation. So obviously southern Racine County and parts of Kenosha County now under that tornado warning. And zooming out, you can actually see maybe quieter weather behind this main line. So dare we say this is kind of the last of the main event for tonight, but it is still just so active with the potential of that spin up. And then southern Milwaukee County, you're not technically in a tornado warning, but you're likely seeing some strong wind and some heavy rain as well. The rain is coming down again here at the station, so the flash flooding threat is going to continue from here.
And Steph, that is a massive threat right now, and I think that can't be stated enough. The amount of water that we are seeing, and look, we know flooding in Milwaukee, right? We know this from last year, and if we can, if we could I don't know if Lisa is available. However, she has been monitoring the flooding just down the street from our station by the old Northridge Mall and then out by 107th and Granville with cars literally stuck in the water. This is big time water. It's continuing. There is what we call a stratiform rain off to the west, so that's going to be more of a steady rain, but there are a few more storms even farther west that could move through overnight, and then we'll dry out a little bit by morning, but then we could do something similar to this. No tornadoes tomorrow night, but we could be doing heavy rain and gusty winds late in the afternoon tomorrow into tomorrow night, so we're not done with this. So that's why we want to quickly go to Lisa Michaels as well. Oh, Lisa, every time we go to you, it's like it's just another shot of all of this water. Please fill us in on what's going on here. Hate to see it.
Yeah, Tom. So we're on 107th and Granville in the northwestern portions of Milwaukee County. We, yes, are visually seeing another car, which has been sitting there for a while in the flooded waters. And we're still continuing to see some people try to make their way through the deep water, and a tow truck driver, which has been really just tirelessly trying to get people out of the flooded waters. Even if the car's been stranded, he's still taking his time to get in to get people out. So most people are heeding the warnings. They are turning around, not drowning, as we like to say, and don't want to take the risk. Those who are, well, you know, some have been dealing with the consequences and their cars are stuck and they have issues. It has been continuing to be a problem. I've even been keeping a track on some of the river levels. The Menominee River in particular, up by Menominee Falls, is starting to get to a very high level. That was also a big problem, as that river Eric and I were talking about started to flow south and cause problems in the Tosa area as well. When was this? This was earlier this year when we had last summer. So expecting the river levels to become a problem through the upcoming days. Love this driver right now, having their reverse lights on. Hopefully they're going to be turning around, but it's just been a continuing problem. The rain is not stopping, and of course some of the drains, it just can't consume that water to go down them quick enough. So the water really has nowhere to go. It started ponding on the sides, but now it is really starting to accumulate on a lot of the roads, low-lying areas. There are people out here trying to either move their cars, it looks like now, to get out of the flooding. Some people have been out trying to observe what's going on. Why are there so many cars in front of their homes? But the best idea really is to stay inside. The lightning can be very dangerous. I know people want to go out and view things, but the best thing to do not only is to protect yourself staying inside from the lightning, from some of the severe storms and tornado warnings, but at the same time, it also is allowing, whether that be emergency personnel or tow trucks or anyone, to take care of the situation at hand. And a better time to go out and view some of this will be tomorrow morning once we have the storms out of here. So We are still tracking this. Again, we are at 107th and Granville right now, where we are continuing to still see some cars in the water. It looks like across the street, too, that car with the bright lights on, that car started to drive in and now is not moving. So I don't know if they're having some issues as well.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Great work. We have to get back to this tornado warning because we have an update from the Summers area where it is looking as though it's calmed down a little bit, but it is possible. Remember, we're talking about that little kink that there was what we call a tornado debris signature. In fact, Steph, if we want to rewind that just one frame, and we talked about this in the Lisbon area when we had that damage where it was likely a roof being lofted and the radar picked up on it. See this right here, right over the interstate? This is where we are seeing possible debris within the last 5 minutes, and you're seeing it right here to the north of Summers. That is correlating with this area of rotation with the tornado warning storm. So let's go to the rotation, Steph, and see if it matches to this general. Oh my goodness.
It does. Absolutely.
Indeed it does. And look, Summers, you need to be in your tornado safe location right now, as this and Racine, this is just south of you. I would be in your tornado safe spot just to be safe from Racine all the way down into Kenosha right now, right in this area. But this has really increased ever since it crossed the interstate here. So especially right along this path here, this is a probable tornado now, especially given the fact that we've seen possible debris on radar. Tornado safe location. We have a camera, I understand. All right, let's take it. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Okay, this is Highway 195 east of the interstate. Okay, oh my goodness.
We can clearly tell that the wind is strong.
I mean, yeah, you can see it just absolutely blowing, and the nonstop lightning, which we talked about earlier as well. My goodness. All right, well, if we have more on that, pull that back up at any point. Again, Summers and points to the east. There's a probable, we can stay on this here, a probable tornado. And we also have a report from earlier. This is going to be a similar part of this storm of structural damage not far from Alpine Valley, east of Alpine Valley, from this line of storms. But my goodness, if you are in Summers and points to the east, you need to be in a tornado-safe location because of what you're seeing on radar here as, again, this kink right here, which is now likely farther east because it takes the radar just a little bit of time to update. So again, this is going to continue to move straight east and then eventually out over the lake here pretty soon. But you can see how quickly these can change. And you saw from that vantage point there the amount of wind, and it likely lofted something into the air, and that's what the radar picked up on with that debris signature. We call that a TDS, or a tornado debris signature, and that's what we had just a few minutes ago. The velocity is matching that here. Steph, let's go to the base reflectivity on this, just so we can kind of get a better view. Of course, a lot of lightning and thunder with that as well, but see, it's right here. You can almost see the little kink there as well, almost a little hook right there. So I think the worst of this is going to go just north of the city of Kenosha, but not by far. So if you're in Kenosha, to be safe, stay in your tornado-safe location as well. This expires in about 22 minutes at 9:30, so we will continue to track this as it heads out over the lake. Let's zoom out a little bit, Steph, because I think this is going to be the end. Well, we hope. Once this bottom portion pushes out over the lake, I think that's going to be the end of the severe weather for the night. But then, of course, the focus is going to be on the flooding. But boy, that escalated quickly right over Summers, Steph. We've been tracking this all the way through Walworth and southern Waukesha counties, and then it's perked up again right over Summers.
And we need to remember that these areas weren't worked over either. So they have still, or they didn't experience all of the thunderstorm activity and heavy rain that we experienced earlier. So these southernmost counties still have a lot of energy and support some of these stronger storms and potential tornadic activity. So still a very serious situation. Again, we were talking about that tornado debris signature. We can check in on that again. It doesn't look, as I zoom in a little bit more, like that area specifically, we're seeing anything well organized like we did earlier, but that entire line, we also need to remember, is going to bring in strong wind to the rest of Kenosha County.
Yeah, this is, again, still really packing a punch here for us, Steph. And we've got to, just get this thing out over the lake, the front side in particular. We got to get this out over the lake within the next 20 minutes. And then we can take a deep breath from the severe weather standpoint for tonight. And we'll get in on tomorrow later, as I don't think we'll have tornadoes tomorrow night, but still flooding rain and the potential for wind and hail yet again with storms. So we just got to get this one out of here. Again, as we've talked about for days, this is day to day, right? I mean, we've got to take it storm by storm. We've got to take it day by day because there's so much of it, right? And so again, Summers and points to the east, Kenosha, be in your tornado-safe location right now. Again, what we mean, it's a radar-observed tornado. It means debris has been indicated. Does this mean it's a huge tornado? No, and it likely isn't a huge tornado. It's not a supercellular type of a tornado, so let's put your mind at ease with that. However, it's enough to certainly cause some damage, and there was actually some significant damage in Lisbon that we saw from our Bria Jones earlier. That was a supercellular tornado. So that was a single cell, big cell type tornado with the monster hail and all that. This is a different type of a line of thunderstorms here. And let's get an update, because now I think we can, in fact, it looks as though Summers, you are just about in the clear. Let's give you about another 5 minutes before we call the all clear there. But the fact now, because the fact that this is starting to move out over the lake, the concern is on the front part of this storm, on the front part of the line. And there you go, Steph. Boom.
That front part making its way over Lake Michigan.
Just getting an update here.
Speak.
Right with that last update. Now we have a flash flood warning for southwestern Dodge and northern Jefferson counties until 10:15. So that's the deal. Once we get rid of the tornado warning, which I think they may cancel it early. If they do it before 9:20, I believe the rule is they can cancel it. If it's after 9:20, they'll let it ride till the end, which will be, they've got to cancel it before 10 minutes. Otherwise, they got to let it ride to 9:30. So we'll see in the next couple of minutes if they let this go. I have a feeling that they will. Stay in your safe spot, Kenosha. Give it just about another 5 minutes. Let's just let this thing kind of push through a little bit more, but I think the danger is pretty much over for you. If you have any damage reports, particularly out of Summers or any of these areas that have suffered damage tonight from flooding or tornadoes or hail, let us know. Reach out to us. Let us know online. Send us pictures as well. You can reach out to us on social media, fox6now.com, the Fox Local app. So many ways to get a hold of us. We want to know what's going on in your neighborhood because, again, we can't be absolutely everywhere, right? So if you have some significant damage or know of significant damage, please pass that on to us because we certainly want to know, certainly post-storm, kind of like we had this morning, we're tracking the storms coming through, but then, then it becomes, okay, sort of the analysis and the cleanup of, okay, what really happened here once the storms move out. So flash flooding is going to become the concern. I mean, Stephanie, we've talked about this for hours. This exact area where that west to east band set up. And this is a lot of water. And we've had well over 2 inches of rain now here at our Fox 6 studios. And there's still more on the way.
Absolutely. And we still have a couple hours left on these flash flood warnings, Tom. The one out west for parts of Dodge and Jefferson County goes until 10:15, so another hour. But the rest of us, this goes until 11. And even past then, the rain could still be ongoing, probably not as heavy, but we have just seen a lot. I can confirm with you, it's been hard to focus. I have water in my basement, I'm told. We just went through this in August, so please check your sump pumps, please check your basement, and don't travel. Tonight is not the night to travel if you don't have to.
Well, and Steph, we go back to August 9th, right? August 9th,
exactly.
August 10th. And I'll never forget that night. Of course, none of us will, right? And Stephanie, it took, an hour and a half to go 10 miles.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. 15 minutes.
Yeah, and with our Lisa Michaels, who we'll check in on later as well, you were seeing cars stuck in the water just down the road from our television station right now, not far from the old Northridge Mall. Hey, good news. That tornado warning, done. They canceled it. So as we suspected, the tornado warning has been canceled. Hey, Kenosha, Summers, you're good. You can get out of your tornado-safe location. Let's just do it. And I believe this severe thunderstorm warning runs until 9:30.
Correct.
So they're going to let that run for another 15 minutes. But I'll tell you, when that goes, they might let the tornado watch ride till 10 because we're so close to expiration. But we're fine. We're done. We're really done at this point with the severe weather aspect. So let's go back to the radar, just kind of on the broad view. This is wild. I mean, isn't this just wild to talk about what we've been through last night, now again today? So here we go. The main line has pushed through, and that is going to take the severe weather threat with it. We do have some more storms back off to the west, so we could still have some heavy rain overnight tonight, and then we're going to have to focus on tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night because more heavy rain is on the way. So the severe weather threat is ending, and now the flash flood threat will continue. That should start to get better overnight, and then we've got to watch for it again tomorrow. No tornadoes tomorrow night, but we could have more flash flooding. So do we want to bring back in our anchor team now as well? Because, Okay, got it. So what we're going to do now, since the tornado warnings are done, we are now going to we're going to go ahead and officially start Fox 6 News at 9. It starts now.
With stories that matter to you, Fox 6 News at 9 starts right now with breaking news.
Now on Fox 6 News at 9, you know what that breaking news is. Severe weather rolling into southeastern Wisconsin. This was the view as we broadcast from the Fox 6 basement earlier as a tornado cell moved overhead. Already there's been one confirmed tornado in Waukesha County.
We're going to start in the storm center tonight, of course, because the threat's not over. The radar, it's still lighting up. Those storms still moving through our area right now.
Flash flooding, a huge concern tonight. Streets all over the area. This is the video from 107th and Granville on Milwaukee's northwest side. That is still a problem area right now.
A tornado watch remains in effect for another hour, runs until 10 p.m. tonight.
And we've had several tornado warnings and flash flood warnings in our area this evening. There's been at least one confirmed tornado. That's in Sussex. Extensive damage there in the Sussex-Lisbon area. And that's where this video was taken. Thousands are without power tonight. Let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Tom Wachs. We can only give you about a 15-second break, Tom, because you got a lot to share with viewers. You and Stephanie doing an amazing job in there.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been a day. It was a night last night. It's been a day today, as you talked about. I think it's the first time, certainly in my history here at Fox 6, that we all went to the basement. Literally every employee went to the basement, and it came close. It was that same cell that hit Sussex and Lisbon that you're going to hear about in a minute that came right over northern Milwaukee County and right over our station. Thankfully, didn't drop a tornado on us, but boy, it came very close. All right, good news tonight. Tornado warnings are done. We are 12 minutes away from severe thunderstorm warning expiration for Racine and Kenosha, cities of here. That will be gone. Tornado watch in effect until 10. That'll be gone pretty quickly as well. So the concern shifting now from severe thunderstorms and tornadoes to flash flooding. And this is a big deal. You just saw some video a moment ago. We're going to check in with our Lisa Michaels, who's been doing a phenomenal job out in the field here in a moment. This is the big story. So let's shake out how all of this has been going over the last several hours. If you recall, if you were up with us very early this morning, we had what looked like a similar setup here, but it was shifted a bit more to the north, Fond du Lac and Sheboygan counties, and then the rest of the line made its way through the area. Now, earlier today, we had two supercells that kind of joined in Dane into Jefferson counties, and that had monster hail with it. I mean, potentially up to tennis ball sized hail. And one of those cells is what produced the likely tornado in Sussex and Lisbon in at about 6:30 tonight in northern Waukesha County, and then that was the cell that continued over Germantown, Mequon, Brown Deer, and those areas as it made its way then out over the lake. Then we shifted throughout the evening to the linear mode, so supercellular mode, which is very different than the line of storms. That's what we just dealt with tornado warnings sweeping across parts of Jefferson, Waukesha, Walworth, Racine, and Kenosha. Two reasons for that. Number one, because the line was coming through. Number two, because the atmosphere was not worked over in our southern counties like it was for areas in northern Waukesha County that had the supercell storms earlier. The supercell storms actually calmed the atmosphere down after they moved through. Southern counties, you didn't have that, so that's why you had your dose of severe weather over the course of the last couple of hours. Now, this activity is moving out. Watertown, Beaver Dam, you're catching a break, but now we have more storms firing off to the west. Hopefully, these don't turn severe. I don't think they will, but we're going to track that should they grow a little bit overnight. The real concern would be heavy rain moving in from the west, so we will track that through the overnight and along the border as well, with more rain starting to develop. So again, we'll just zoom you into the Milwaukee area where the worst of the weather is starting to make its way off to the east. So now flash flooding is going to be an issue for the next several hours. The other story, and I know we've talked about taking this day by day, right? We're going to dry things out overnight. Most of the morning will be dry, which we need. We need a lot of dry time, but then we have another storm system. That's going to be coming in as we head into the middle part of the day, into the afternoon and evening, where we could have some strong storms, no tornadoes, but heavy rain, a likelihood once again. So unfortunately, we have to talk about that, which we will here in a couple of minutes. But we want to talk about the flooding now, and that is with our Lisa Michaels, who has been in our storm chase vehicle. And we want to talk more about that flooding as we head throughout the night here. And Lisa, you've been out throughout the day here today and into the night. Tell us your experiences and tell us what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, Tom. So when we had those supercells develop earlier, we were heading out west on 94 towards Madison. We ended up taking place in Lake Mills for a little bit to make sure we didn't go into the large hail. And then when we got that tornado warning heading into Waukesha County and eventually Milwaukee County, we were trying to catch up with that storm to see if we could get a clear view on if a potential tornado was going to develop from that. We ended up not being able to get on the right side of that. However, we saw some amazing lightning, so electrifying storms. Also then what that transitioned into was tornadoes in other areas that were reported. And really, when you guys have been tracking the tornadoes overnight, we don't like to track storms overnight because it's a couple things. When we start to get a line of storms, it can be very dangerous to track, as well as it already being dark outside. That can play tricks with your eyes. The only way you can actually visually see a tornado is with lightning. And so we really tried to veer off of the tornado threat when you guys have been covering that and switching then over to the flooding threat. We have some video footage of the flooding from earlier, and I know our producer Jeff is going to take some of that, but I want to show you what we're tracking. We're still tracking here at 107th and Granville, a car that has been stranded on the street in the water. We have a truck right now going over a median to try to get out of the flooded way because they were trying to go through some of the waters like some people are. And then we have a BMW car which is still stuck in the flooded waters as we speak. Now, there have been tow truck drivers out here through the night helping cars, pulling them out. You can see this car here was stuck, which we had another car driving to the same spot. I think there might be some caving out of the roads underneath, so we're continuing to watch that. Buses moving through. Of course, we tell people turn around, do not drown. There's been so many people getting stuck at this intersection. And there you can see that tow truck too, which is pushing a minivan out of the water. You know, the tow truck's still here now. We are still seeing people people lining up, figuring out, do they want to cross? Do they want to turn around? And Eric has been phenomenal with me. We've had a really hard time watching people go through these flooded waters. So that was some of the scene from here. We also had footage with Jeff, if you could pull up, of some of the other flooded roads we saw earlier. This was heading on the freeway where we were driving, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, cars slowed down and we hit a lot of water. That was one of the first flooded experiences we had on the freeway. So the freeway has been an issue. Some areas right now it is even temporarily closed. And then we stopped as we were moving closer to Brown Deer Road, 181 here. We had flooded road waters across the entire road and the on-ramp, but there's a car coming the wrong way at us on that on-ramp, as they obviously had to turn around because the waters were so flooded, they obviously couldn't continue forward. So we have been dealing with so many roads flooded tonight. There has been some crews out there, at least in terms of police officers. I've seen blocking off some of the entrance ramps and off ramps. That was in particular on I-41 and Mequon Road. But we're continuing again to just track the cars stranded, tracking again people that are trying to get through and then they're constantly backing out. But it has been a very sad sight to see, and especially, you know, hearing that Stephanie's got floodwater in her basement now. I mean, this is really hard for people who are still trying to recover from the flooding we just had not that long ago. So we're continuing to track a lot of the floodwaters across the area. I know that some of the EMS police officers have been really busy tonight, but there's just so much flooding that a lot of these roads aren't marked with cones. There is not anyone here to keep people out. So we just are going to have to keep trying to help people from driving through the waters tonight and really staying off the roads if possible.
Lisa, how long have you been out there? This has been like a car graveyard because there have been no law enforcement. And then that tow truck goes in. It's like car fishing. He gets the guys out of there. I mean, that car on our left, that guy just drove in there. And that tow truck's going to dig him out. And then someone else going to drive in. We haven't seen any law enforcement out there. How long you been there?
No, I mean, I'm going to say that we've been here at least an hour, maybe a little bit more. You know, there's a lot of information going around, but the sad part about it is the second a tow truck pulls a car out, we get cars stuck in the exact same spot. So we've had people, and a tow truck driver actually did hear him because he was pulling out a car behind us, saying, no, don't do it. But people obviously aren't heeding the warnings. They're speeding down these roads at a normal rate of speed, and then they all of a sudden are getting stuck in the water. So it's just a really hard sight to see, Ben. We're still, again, seeing a lot of people paying attention and turning around to try to find an alternative route. I mean, we even had to do that earlier when we were trying to get close to the station. We didn't go through the roads, but we're still watching people. I mean, even as I speak, can you see this?
This is, I mean,
and
it's just been
some of these people
over and
actually
over.
It's bad. It's bad. And these cars, look, I wonder if he's getting stuck now.
Yeah, another one. There's
and sometimes when they've pulled through, some people have actually stopped on the other side of the road. I don't know if they're getting water inside the car. Obviously, this guy just got stuck now.
That's
Looks
how you
like
kill a
maybe
car.
his car
All right,
shut
Lisa,
off.
we got to move on here because we got to get to debris here. But we're going to stay on that scene and keep watching it. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, and maybe that adult car sends a message to others: don't drive through here. The Sheriff's Department putting out a very strongly worded statement about people doing that. We'll get to that in a second, but we've got to talk to more important stories about the tornado.
There's a lot of damage out there. The National Weather Service, they've confirmed a tornado in Waukesha County.
And it's done some damage. That's where we find Bria Jones tonight, who was in the Sussex, Lisbon area, and you came across a heartbreaking scene.
That is no other word to describe it, but just that, Ted. I want you to just see some of the debris here. We've actually moved across the street just because this damage is just so far widespread and extensive, but you can see some of the debris here. Now, the interesting thing is that this debris is actually not from any of the storage units. It's actually from this shed that is about 200 feet away. And again, when we talk about just how extensive this damage is, Colin, if we can pan back over just how far this went, the damage, the the debris from the shed traveled all the way across the street here. This is Indian Grass Trail. We have seen first responders on this road all throughout the evening. So that debris from the shed spilled into here. As you can see, this path here at the storage unit, as well as all the way across the street. And Colin, come back over here because, again, they are out here surveying the area here at this storage facility. This is how strong, this is how powerful this storm was. You can see here, the shed door here ripped off of this unit, and I'm told that this is not the only unit that is like this. So again, the people who own this storage facility, they're currently walking around checking things out just because, again, the damage here that we're seeing is unbelievable. You can see the debris all across the road here. Take a listen to the parents of the gentleman who owned a business across the street when they arrived here just to see this breathtaking damage. Your son owns this business right behind us. Yes. What is it like seeing all this damage?
It's pretty rough. My son has been in business for many years, and this is going to be hard on him and his business. And he's a landscaping company, and this is his busy time of year. So this is not optimal. It's not going to be fun. So I'm worried about what's actually inside, and we can't get inside the building quite yet.
And I know your wife is already surveying the damage behind the building. What was that phone call like? Because you said your son was in a panic knowing that we were experiencing all this severe weather while he was out of town.
Yeah, he's really nervous right now. He's down in Knoxville, and this is just really rough on him. And I'm sure he's just out of his mind, not knowing what's going on. And I think my wife is actually inside the building right now, trying to find out what's going on. So this is a shock to us all, and really sad for my son and his business. So while he's landscaping, it's just going to be tough on him.
Well, we know that we can always rebuild. We're thinking of you guys in this moment.
Thank goodness no one was here when this happened. You know, thank goodness nobody was here at the office and doing any work or anything, wrapping up the stuff. So thank goodness for that.
And back out here live, I want to bring your attention to another issue. The storm so powerful, so strong, the winds snapping and bringing down dozens and dozens of trees. This is just a few. The drive here, I can say we counted over 20 trees that either snapped or fell over because, again, the powerful winds moved through here in Lisbon. Colin's giving us just another live look. This debris, some of it, this is the debris that's coming from that shed. So this is now about 600 feet away from the shed. So that's just how powerful and how strong the winds were moving through. And if we could pan over across the street, just another look. The damage, there are so many damages to businesses. We were at Lisbon Presbyterian Church earlier on the Wisconsin Live Desk. There's a lot of damage out here in Lisbon, and the first responders, they are on scene helping people to clear some of the roads, and they're also tackling those down power lines and telling people to stay away from them. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Bria Jones and Sussex there with just that heartbreaking story of a business that appears to be severely damaged, if not destroyed. Thanks, Bria.
The power outages, they are climbing. Not surprised, Sussex leading the way, 3,700.